Hunter Biden emailed Yi demanding $10 million more as seed money for a new company called Sino-Hawk Holdings. In August of 2017, another Hunter Biden-controlled company called Hudson West received a $5 million wire from CEFC. CFC also paid Hunter Biden's law firm, Owasco, nearly $5 million. These are according to bank records reviewed by Senate investigators. If we just pause here for a moment. In their details, these stories bear a striking resemblance to the Russiagate insanity that we were dragged through for years. Remember, they go on TV and bore you for an hour with how all these things fit together, and then this money went that way. But in the end, there was nothing there. Operating on the theory, which isn't really a theory, it's true that they always accuse you of exactly what they themselves are doing. It's kind of striking that the truth about what the Biden family, the president, his son, and his brother Jimmy, is almost exactly what they accused the Trumps of doing.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun, sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just finished our 13th year of broadcast excellence. Now in our 14th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. And let's open the show with some breaking news. The Washington Examiner reporting that AOC had a screed on the steps of the Capitol, destroying the work of the one-sided 1-6 committee.
These insurrectionists,
like Antifa,
and that there were actual officers working with this, and we never got to the bottom of that, and we never got any answers about that, and then to this day we're just supposed to pretend that that never happened.
What about Antifa?
I have no idea what happened to the people on the inside who were very clearly sympathetic with what was going on and opening the doors wide open for that. And I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like none of that ever happened, and then right afterwards you have a massive, you just have this idea that throwing money at that problem is going to make it go away without any accountability. And so this is where these things are breaking down. We're not safe. And it's not just about members of Congress not being safe. The food staff workers aren't safe. The janitors aren't safe. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this. So that's all I got to say.
What about Antifa?
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Antifa, please.
People on the inside, she's talking about the Capitol Police. This morning, the Washington Examiner showed film of the Capitol Police opening the doors for the Trump people, and everybody was nice and kind. It was like a tour. Did you see that in the 1-6 committee? Hell no. Now, I'm pretty sure AOC's phone has been vibrating 24/7. And why? Well, this is the Democrats' kind of last stand at indicting or impeaching, whatever they want to call it, Donald Trump before they lose Congress in November. Why would the 1-6 mob, mob, I guess you could call them, committee? Really, it's obvious hate fest over Trump. It's something that the mainstream media and social media can occupy us with instead of talking about the disaster unfolding to our country. In just 1.5 years of the Biden, Kamala, Obama regime, everything they touch or influence, from oil, overspending, government green deals, gender wars, race wars, DAs revolving doors causing crime in almost all of our cities to skyrocket, school security, followed by stupid red flag laws that'll keep guns in the hands of criminals and take them away from everyday people. And the Democratic push to kill babies up to and even after birth have divided us into camps that are becoming less tolerant with each other. And then there's our border. Well, what used to be our border, where the cartels are in charge of American immigration, sending drugs in like fentanyl, children used for sex, sold as slaves, women raped, and all being sent to a neighborhood near yours to overthrow yet another election. With the payback from the cartels for our southern border, one would think that the Biden administration wouldn't need Hunter to swindle millions for the Biden family from China and Ukraine and Russia, and now from Saudi Arabia. And just as AOC cried at Trump's first attempt at stemming the flow at the border in front of empty cages, we all wonder about how people elected such ridiculous lowlifes. Now we're waiting for AOC to reveal what she knows about the phony elections in 2020. How about you? Hi there, my name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm your radio talk show host this morning. I'm here with radio legend and had a nice vacation, J.P. Maxwell. Hi,
Thank
J.P.
you.
He's
Glad to be
rested.
back. Yep.
Glad to have you back. Rick's not here today. He's taking care of some personal matters, and my lovely bride, last but not least, certainly, Lisa Ann Weinbaum, who woke up in a bad mood this morning.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, my dog was getting yelled at by you.
Well, your dog was yelling at us.
He doesn't yell. He barks.
Nonstop.
My dog, if he yelled, he'd be on the show. Okay, you're darn right he would. And we have our first guest for a little early, but he's never late, and we're going to talk to him right now. Can I get a song for John Jeffrey Bradshaw? Sing along, please. Got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kissing your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is 254 years old, and he goes back to the revolutionary times. He used to hang out at Ye Old Tavern in Virginia with Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. They used to pick up pioneer girls, before the Revolution. And he has all this wisdom from all those years packed under usually a tinfoil hat, and he is going to give us a little slice of that knowledge today, as he does every week. Please welcome, all the way from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Yeah. How you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty good. You mentioned Lisa woke up in a bad mood. Hell, Dave, if I had to wake up with you, I'd be in a bad mood too.
Thank you for the sympathy, JJ.
We need to go there. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I couldn't imagine myself waking up next to you under any circumstances.
Prospect, I agree. Say, let's talk about the January 6th debacle.
Yes, please.
I really don't have the guts to watch the televised version of those things. I can't stand those people. Makes me want to vomit. But I do read rather quickly, and I have been reading transcripts. And reading the transcripts, Dave, this thing is so one-sided. You don't have to read the first 10 paragraphs, and you know that this is all political, one-sided, whitewash job. It's let's get Donald J. Trump, who is no longer a sitting president, who is not a threat to them, at least not until the 24 elections come around. These folks are suffering from the most deluded paranoia I think I've seen in my long, long life. In reading those transcripts, particularly the last one, this thing is so blatantly one-sided. No one is challenging any of the witnesses. No one is calling witnesses that might perhaps support Donald J. Trump or the folks that broke into the Capitol. No, none of this. This looks so much like what you would see in Russia during Vladimir Lenin's time. It's a show trial, except it's not a trial. It's a political lambast.
This overturns 230 years of history of the minority being able to put their own people on a committee.
Indeed.
The Republicans, in this case, would be the minority.
That's
and
correct.
Call witnesses and cross-examination. Of course,
you alluded to this earlier.
Yeah.
And I think this is the entire thrust of the January 6th committee, is to give us a circus to take our eyes off the very horrible things that are happening in our country. 9.1% inflation, a porous southern border that's allowing our enemies to come in and bringing COVID and bringing drugs and bringing terrorists. And these folks want you to not notice that. So they give you the January 6th circus. Now, those of us who are reasonable thinking people look at that January 6th committee and say, nah, this is BS. This is entirely BS. They're trying to get us to turn our heads away from the things that are oh so wrong with this country.
Now, we know that and you know that. But some of the people out there are saying, we just had enough of Trump. See, if you say something bad about you or me enough times, no matter whether it's true or not, people say, well, maybe we don't like him either. They just seem to react to being beaten on the head and having the stuff come at them 20 which ways from hell, and pretty soon they get, well, maybe there's something there. You know what I'm saying? So if you lie enough about a person, they become outcast.
They absolutely hated his mean tweets. I'm not so sure that is a reason to impeach a sitting president, but okay, they managed to get that done twice because of mean tweets. Now, he's possibly the best leader that we've had in this century. Did wonderful things for our economy, shored up our military, did things right.
Yes.
And
what did he do wrong?
That.
Other than, and you say mean tweets, well, that's him standing up to the mainstream media and to the Democrat liars who were trying to impeach him since he came down the escalator at Trump Tower. 7 years. 7 years.
I found his mean tweets to be enormously entertaining.
Absolutely.
Because he was poking barbs at the idiots.
Yeah.
And the idiots need to have barbs poked at them. I think he did a wonderful job. Now, for them to expend all this money and all this energy and all this time to try to further beat up a no longer sitting president, doesn't that tell you that there is desperation involved with
Absolutely.
This thing? I think this is entirely desperate. And any reasonable person is going to look at this thing and say, wait a minute, this is completely one-sided. This is not a trial. This is not a hearing. This is nothing but political theater.
Sure it is.
Designed to make us not look at all the shortcomings that the Democrats have managed to come up with. And if you look, our oil prices, why are they so high? Because Joe Biden shut down the pipelines, shut down the leases. Our inflation, why is that so high? Because these folks have been printing money and giving it away like there wasn't any tomorrow.
Yep.
It doesn't take an economist to recognize this stuff. This is Econ 101. You print money like there wasn't any tomorrow. Guess what? You get inflation.
Yep.
You get inflation that's rampant like this and start shutting down jobs. You get a recession. Are we in a soft recession right now? You bet your butt we are. And I'll bet you, here's my prophecy for today. Let me get the tinfoil hat on so I can do this right.
That's the best I could do.
By December of this year, we will be in a serious, serious recession.
Yes.
December. Mark my words. Play this thing back in December and say, that old man was right. enough for my.
Well, I would never call you an old man. I would call you a sophisticated person of many years. How's that?
A wise man.
A wise
I didn't
what?
bring frankincense and myrrh, but I am a wise man. Now, you mark my words. We're in a soft recession right now. We're seeing the tip of it. The Fed is doing all they can do to put the brakes on this economy, but it's always too little too late. They always act after the fact. That is the nature of the Fed.
They didn't seem to have a clue this was happening. Everyone else knew it was happening. They didn't have a clue. Oh, it's going to go away. It's just maybe 2 months ago. It was no big deal.
Joe Biden actually poo-pooed the consumer price index the other day.
Yeah. Wow.
We've used the consumer price index as a yardstick for our economy for many, many decades, and it is reasonably well accepted amongst everybody. Joe said, well, we're not measuring the right stuff.
This guy,
so this really doesn't mean anything.
He's never had to write a check for a payroll. Never. Not once has he signed a check. 62% of his people who are responsible for economics never had a job outside of government.
Been in government the whole time.
Okay? They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're clueless.
They won't listen to somebody like you that knows.
Exactly. I know what's going on. I watch it every day. And it's a lot worse than they're talking about.
They can tell you the same things. It's crazy to have a government that is run by these elites that have no experience. They have very little in the way of clue, not much. They're listening to the lobbyists that are telling them how good things are or what they need to do to make things better for the lobbyists. So this is insidious. This thing is spiraling down the drain. And those of us who are plain old John Q. citizens can see this thing a mile away. Yet we have a non-responsive government that is unwilling to do the hard things to put this right. Stop printing money. Stop it.
Right.
Stop giving it away to our enemies.
They're still trying to do it.
Stop begging the Arabs for oil. Stop begging the Venezuelans for oil. Open the valves right here.
It's
Any
not going to
moron
happen.
can see
there
this.
Are morons.
Yet we have a government, an executive branch.
It's worse. They're worse than morons. They are. Let's see. They're progressives. You know, they're ignoring the facts of immediate danger to all of us, immediate starvation for the world, because in 20 years we might have more electric cars than gas cars. In 20 years, that's what they're looking at. And now, you know what they've done now to these Teslas? They've told people there aren't enough stations, and so you're going to have to use gas for a while. So they're sending them back to even use more oil on the dream of the future. It's crazy.
The killer of this thing is, Dave.
Yep.
Tesla refills those cars for free. Okay, you buy a Tesla, you get free electricity. That's just fine, except nobody bothers to go back a couple of steps and note that so much of this is from coal-fired power plants.
Yeah, right.
They're anti-coal, they're anti-natural gas, they're anti-anything that looks like fossil fuels, yet their dream car is being fueled by, guess what, fossil fuels. This is so circular, and I just can't believe that intelligent people would buy into this. But my God, they are. They're drinking the Kool-Aid and buying into it. I don't know. Maybe I ought to just check out of this. It's become too disgusting for me.
JJ, it makes you kind of think, how did these people get elected? And did they actually get elected?
This was 100% fraud, Dave. 100%.
All these people in D.C. Now, last week we had, or 2 weeks ago, we had Jeff Zink on the show.
Yes.
And we were talking about states that have decertified the 2020 elections.
Yes.
And there were a few of them, and I looked it up this morning, and I couldn't find. There was a discussion about Wisconsin. I think it was Pennsylvania. I think it was Texas, and they all were rumored to have decertified the election in 2020.
Yeah.
Now, I can't find the news story that's going to say that actually happened. So I'm wondering if it did or it didn't. Does anyone know out there? Call the show.
I haven't seen that either. But one good thing has come out of this election fraud that occurred. People like Jeff Zick are shining the light on this. Yeah. And some state legislatures are causing this to be tightened up quite a bit. So the odds of drive-by balloting and drop boxes are shrinking rapidly. Now, not so much in the blue states, but the red states are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, we got people voting that have been dead for 22 years. We need to do something about this. Yeah. And voter ID is the most important key element. Absolutely. In person, vote with an ID. You have to use an ID to cash a check. Why shouldn't you have to have an ID to vote in the most important elections in the world?
All right, listen, you're getting hard to hear because of some technical thing. So we're going to end this, and I really appreciate you coming by again. I don't know if that's on our side, isn't it? No. Okay.
Oh, maybe me.
No, it's not you. It's not you. Not this time, anyways.
Well, I'll just scream a little louder, Dave. I love your show. Always enjoy.
We love you. We love you as you are the opening act for the next 200 years on the Dave Weinbaum Show. J.J. Bradshaw. That's John Jeffrey Bradshaw, a veteran, a sharpshooter, by the way. He wants to teach me how to shoot. So
stay on his good side.
I mean, I want you to look at my shirt today because I have the right to bear arms right there. I have the right to bear arms, okay? Why are you fluffing me off like that? That's wrong. You should apologize to me. Uh-huh. I mean, I'm just a guy trying to make you happy. Anyways, let me announce the rest of the crew on here. Who else is coming on? Well, that was J.J. Bradshaw. We got Rabbi Moshe calling in about, 15 minutes or so. We've got Cheryl Chumley coming on, Chris Adamo. We have and Elad Hakim to end the show. We got a great a bunch of guests, and there's a lot of things to ask them. You know, the AOC thing. I wonder why did she do that? Okay, she did it in front of the White. I mean, she knew what she was doing. She knew this was going to blow up the 1-6 committee. Was this revenge for some reason against Nancy Pelosi?
I don't know. You sent this to us, yesterday or whenever it was.
I just got it.
And the thing that I texted back was, "What's her end game?" Because to me, that's what I'm looking at. I almost get to the point, I don't care what they say. I want to know why they're saying it because it's pointing to something else they're going to do. I just don't know what this is.
Well, I mean, I think she's too young to run for president, but maybe senator. Maybe she's got her eyes on Chuck Schumer's seat.
That's been a rumor for a while.
Yeah, so there's something going on there, and I just don't know. I can't imagine her doing it because it's the truth. And suddenly she has discovered the truth, especially this woman who lied about everything she could, about being in the Capitol building when she wasn't during the so-called insurrection. She lied about those cages out there in Mexico or at the border, and we all know that. And why do we trust her? So you're always looking for nefarious motives from this woman. But I just find it fascinating because she's got to be getting phone calls, or maybe there's some plan to do this. I don't get it. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. My number here is 573-578-2700. Call me and let's save America, for goodness sakes.
So my question then is, if she doesn't have a true end game, is that she just got so riled up that she just started spewing at the mouth and didn't even realize how it was going to sound because it basically poked holes right in the January 6th committee.
Well,
was that intentional or unintentional? I don't know.
She's stupid in a lot of different ways, but I think she's politically fairly adept, and I have to think she knew what she was doing.
So then again, the question is, what's the end game then? It's something.
Well, yeah.
I just don't know what it is either.
I think she might want to get out of the House, become a senator. And that goes right up Schumer's took us right there. So anyways, so we've got a good show, and let's see which. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Pelosi and this 1-6 committee, I think we need to play this one more time. Let's do Pelosi Frankenstein. This is Nancy Pelosi.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. It's a tactic.
This is Nancy Pelosi. Now, how evil is this? That she's proud that she can go out and lie about other people and destroy their lives with lies. How evil is that? I mean, and these are our leaders. You're supposed to respect your leaders. How does anyone respect that? I wouldn't respect that if Republicans did that, and I'm sure some of them do, but not to the extent that the Democrats have done this. They're propagandists, for goodness sakes.
The Democrats are those kind of people where they pick a fight, say, meet me in the parking lot, we're just going to go fisticuffs here,
and
then they show up with all the weapons and all that and say, oh, you don't get any. It's the same type of idea.
Well, yeah, and you know, we got to get wise to that. We got to beat them at their own game. You know, there's no other way to do it. Apparently, there's no argument. There's no arguing with them. It's either their way or you're out of there. And in fact, they will ride you out of there if they get power. They ride people out. They want all the power.
The day of nice politics, it's over.
Yeah,
it's time to fight back.
I mean, there was periods when we had nice politics, but you know, if you go back even to the revolutionary times, the arguments in the 1770s about this new country were anything but nice, and so you know, there is a tradition of when you have free speech of back and forth. There is a tradition of some people trying to pass evil things or keep evil things like slavery. You know, we kept that for, you know, about 70 years after the Declaration of Independence. So actually, it's more than that. It's about 80 years.
Close to 100, yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, 80 years we kept that. It was 1776 to 1863. How about that?
Yep.
I knew that. Anyways, Pam Tanner up there saying, good morning, everyone. Hi, Pam. How you doing? How's that old man of yours? And Patricia Oden Maxwell, the official pastor and official mother to, official pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show and official mother to John. What is your middle name?
Patrick.
John Patrick Maxwell.
And we had a very nice vacation, and frankly, still trying to recover from part of it from driving there and back. Long trip.
I heard your
good.
Mom had an interesting, entertaining moment with a policeman down there.
No, Lord. Yeah, that's another story for another day.
You know what I understand? I understand that we have some more pandemic happening. And here's Jane Shepard. Good morning, all. Good morning, Jane. Owen McNamee, always pushing the show. A patriot. Hi, Owen. Thank you so much for what you do, buddy. He's a tough-looking guy, you know. He's got the right to bear arms, too. I can tell, yeah. I've known him for a long time, but I wasn't close to him until just, you know, when he got on the show and started helping me with it. And listen, I got to thank all the people that helped me with this show. We had a big turnout on Twitter last night of people back on the show. They kicked me off for about 12 hours last week, and I still don't get it why. I mean, I had some information regarding the new tests, new reports on the vaccines, and how dangerous they are and how dangerous it is, even if you're you have the vaccine, you can pass the disease on, and you can die, and you can go to the hospital. So what is that? Why do you take a vaccine if that can happen? You know, me and my wife, we fought it. We got it. We fought it, and the doctor's still pushing us to get the vaccine. Why? The vaccine is a big problem. There's a lot of people with a lot of bad effects. Now, I have the VAERS report on DaveWeinbaum.net. You might want to look at it, but when you put that stuff on Facebook and or Twitter, they get very, very edgy about it. Why? What's their tie? What is their tie
this particular
to the drugs?
This particular report said that you're definitely more likely to get COVID if you've been vaccinated.
Yeah, how does that work?
That was probably not well received by the media gurus.
But this is it's in the New England Journal of Medicine. Something that when you say that, a doctor will bend down and sort of in awe of the fact that he reads or she reads the New England Journal of Medicine. Oh my! You say that, and you can't argue a bit. The problem is they don't know what's in the New England Journal of Medicine because I looked and I Googled and I found the VAERS report where all this stuff I'm talking about, all these bad reactions and deaths compared to 31 years of vaccines are reported. And they're supposed to be reported by law. It's in the New England Journal of Medicine. And yet I've had 4 or 5 doctors who I ask now, do you read the New England Journal of Medicine? Oh, back to front to back, every month. And yeah, sure, right. And I says, well, tell me about the VAERS report. I says, what? The VAERS report. Well, we don't know anything about that. Well, it's in the New England Journal of Medicine. I found it there. I says, so how much of the New England Journal of Medicine do you read? And they said, well, the whole thing. Well, no, you don't, because you missed that, didn't you? And you would think that at this time in our history, at this moment in our time, when we're all discussing these vaccines and we're all discussing whether or not children under 5 years old can get these vaccines, like at 6 months or whatever, we're discussing this. And they don't know anything about the possible vaccine ill affections and maybe deaths on these little children. What the hell are these people doing in the medical business? And that includes my own doctor up in St. Louis. Up in St. Louis, he told me he reads, oh my God, he reads the New England Journal of Medicine. Oh my God, back to front. I says, the VAERS report? Well, I don't really know about that. I says, aren't you a little curious? Well, not unless it's in the New England Journal of Medicine. He didn't know it was in there. Look, I'm not a doctor. I'm a business guy. I own restaurants. I own a paving company. How do I know this and they don't? That's what I want to know. And you ought to go to your doctor. They're supposed to know this kind of stuff. I don't get paid to do that. I don't get paid to be a doctor. You know? All right, well, we'll get off that screen after a while. And let's play some clips. Let's do number 2.
A group of American intelligence analysts working for the U.S. government issued a report on the origins of COVID. They've been asked to, and they did. Now, these people work at CIA, NSA, a bunch of other agencies, and they concluded that the coronavirus may very well have been manufactured in a lab by the Chinese military. Turns out that's not a talk radio conspiracy theory. As a factual matter, it's a very real possibility. And if it's true, if that's what happened, and again, many highly informed people believe that's exactly what happened, that would mean the Chinese government is responsible for killing millions of people around the world. And would also raise questions, obvious questions, about motive. Why would China unleash a deadly virus on the globe? To the American mind, that is an unimaginable thing to do, but the Chinese government thinks very differently from the way that we think. America has been the dominant power in the world for more than 100 years, since the end of the First World War when Europe destroyed itself. Empires destroying themselves always paves way for new empires, something we should keep in mind at the moment. So American attitudes about everything are shaped by generations of casual affluence. We're in charge and we always will be in charge. That's what all of us assume. But the Chinese government does not assume this about us or them. Until fairly recently, China was a poor country. There are still millions of living Chinese who remember seeing their neighbors starve to death during famines. As a result of that experience, China is very aggressive and very ambitious in ways that your average State Department official from Bethesda could not begin to comprehend. So would a government like that use COVID as a bioweapon? Well, why wouldn't it? The coronavirus reshuffled the global order. It crushed the American economy. It made China preeminent.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned. Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper Fresh Savings every day.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is here. And look at him smiling, even though, you know what's weird? Biden is in the Middle East. And guess where my guest is? He's in New Jersey. I'm going to ask him about that later. But first, let's give him a song. I know he loves it.
Yeah, 1 second, Dave. You were talking to another rabbi? Sounds like you're cheating on me.
No, actually, I'm cheating with you on him because he was the first rabbi. Listen to this. I got rabbis fighting over me. This is kind of weird.
Second most powerful in Israel. A non-profit prophet, future rabbi to the Trump Third Temple Hotel, Golf Course Casino and Spa, and the official rabbi to the Dave Weinbaum Show and Missouri, all the way from New Jersey, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. So what's the deal? I figured as the second most powerful in Israel, and we know because of your prophecy that Netanyahu's coming back, that you would be in Israel for that. What's going on?
Well, he's not coming back till the next election, which I think is November 1st. But,
yeah.
Since Biden left here and he's in Israel now, they needed me here to, for a little support for the U.S. government. So
I see.
Since he left, I had to come here.
Boy, do we need you, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild, for president. In a second, I'd vote for you. All right,
thanks.
And you are a citizen of this country as well, right?
I am. We'd have to close the country on Shabbat though, because I don't work on Shabbat.
You don't work on Shabbat? All right. Well, we'll get you a nice Christian Christian vice president, and she or he could take over.
Good idea.
When you're on, when you're on layover because of that's another question I have for you. I'm going to skip to that one. Because this is kind of, it's a weird question. I'm not trying to insult you, but they have found that pig hearts transplanted to humans, human beings, because of a shortage of human hearts, is pretty effective. They save lives. So is this allowed? Is this allowed? I mean, oink, yes or no?
One oink for yes, two for no. It's definitely allowed.
Really?
The issue in the Bible is the consumption, the eating of pig, which it's considered a non-kosher animal. But Jews can play football. The football's a pigskin.
I wonder if that's really true. Is it pigskin or is it leather?
Well, I think back in the day it was. Yeah.
Maybe
the original. I thought you were asking whether it's true that Jews could play football.
Oh.
Well, no, that might be a question too. But having something inside of you, your own heart, as something that isn't kosher, that struck me as something that that could be a problem.
Well, it's perfectly fine. Again, you just can't eat it. Using it for other things is fine.
So here's something I want to ask you. This is kind of serious. Biden is got the Israeli Medal of Honor. I mean, is it true that that was because Dr. Mengele is dead? I mean, he couldn't get it. What are you doing? This he's signing up Iran to drop a nuclear weapon on you, and he's giving $500 million to the Palestinian government to murder Jews and Americans, by the way.
Yeah, there was a tremendous opposition to. They decided before he even came to Israel that they were going to give him this Medal of Honor, and. They faced tremendous opposition to this, but they decided in the end, to go ahead with it. And it's kind of like when they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize, within a couple months of his presidency. Not only did he not do anything, but even by the end of his presidency, he didn't do anything. Maybe it's kind of think of when you have kids, you need to encourage them. You give them the prize to encourage them. I don't think he got the prize because of anything he actually did, but maybe Israel was trying to just butter him up and try to encourage him. And I think the visit has actually gone reasonably well, except for a couple of things. But he said a lot of the right things that even Obama wouldn't have said. So you got to give a little credit to him. But, he did some things that we're not happy with that you just mentioned.
You got to understand something. Go by what he said about what he was going to do in Afghanistan and tell me how truthful he was with it after the fact. So what he says doesn't mean much.
Right.
Did you want to say something?
It's true.
I just find it ironic that the very president who brought the most peace that we've seen in a long time, Donald Trump, didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, even though Obama did.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's politicized.
Absolutely.
It's politicized. And Trump, without question, should have won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
But, he does a lot of mean tweets. So,
we were just talking about that. We listened to the show. So. We were just talking about his mean tweets. And speaking of President Trump, his first wife, Ivana, died yesterday. Yeah. And they're doing, I saw a little work that she's done. She used to work in his businesses and all. Yeah. And she talked about her kids. She was apparently a great mother, all right? Mm-hmm. She got her kids up early in the morning, every morning, 6 or so, around there. And she would, where'd you go, Rabbi? Oh, there you are.
No, I'm here.
Okay. She would take them, if it was non-school, she would take them to work. And they'd work in the hotels and the restaurants in the hotels. All the little kids, all right? And Don Jr. would come up to her and say, Mom, we're not getting paid very much money. How come we're not getting paid anything? And, they go back and forth. And finally he just said, Mom, can't you give me a raise? He says, sure. And he said, well, why didn't you do it before? She says, because you never asked. Okay, is that a great story or what?
Yeah.
That's Don Jr.
It's a cute story, but Dave, a lot of people say that and people want to know how come God doesn't help them with this, God doesn't help them with that, yes. And the question is they never ask,
Well, they never ask, and I wonder, God doesn't want to do everything for you. The right. Proof is in some things you can do yourself, many things you can do yourself with the guidance of God. I mean, that's a question. Do you just want to pray for God to give you stuff? I mean, you don't learn if you don't learn how to do it yourself.
No, but you could pray for God to give you an opportunity to be in position to
That's what I do.
Like, for example, that you pray that someone should offer you an opportunity, to offer you a job, to offer you a chance to but sitting home is not an option.
Well,
you got to asking God just to give you things. It was like a child with the gimmies. You just got to ask for opportunity.
I pray to God for guidance and guiding me to doing the right stuff. I do this radio thing or podcast thing because I like doing it. I mean, I really enjoy the work. I enjoy the research. I think I do more research than just about anybody, and I do it all on my own. I don't have a staff. Well, kind of staff, but they're not out there doing research generally. They're helping execute the show with me, and they're doing a great job with it. But I'm getting the stories, and I'm doing what I think is the best thing I can do every Friday.
Right.
But I ask for guidance from God. The way I say it is, can you give me one more good show? Can I get another good show? Because I know, I'm getting old too. I was older than Ivana. I'm older than her, and she died yesterday. So the time could be coming for me pretty soon.
Well, I like what you said.
Scared the hell out of me.
Just give me one more show. It's like every day we just pray, just give me one more day.
Yeah.
And
it's not going to happen forever, but
yeah.
All right, so let's get back to other questions, and the U.S. is pushing Israel to open Palestinian consulate in Jerusalem. Is this serious stuff? Is this serious? They're demanding this?
Right. Well, it was a statement made by someone in the U.S. administration. However, the U.S. administration backtracked on it, saying that the person who said it had misspoke, and that they were not pushing for a reopening of a U.S. consulate in Jerusalem. For those who don't understand what that means,
the U.S. consulate in Jerusalem, or is it Palestinian consulate?
A Palestinian consulate in Jerusalem. If those who don't really understand what this means, that the United States under Donald Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem, thereby closing any consulate they had in Jerusalem. But the Palestinians don't want to acknowledge Jerusalem as the capital, so they don't want to go to the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem for any kind of services they might need. So they're demanding an opening of a U.S. consulate in order to service the Palestinians in Jerusalem, so that they won't have to, by default, acknowledge that Jerusalem is the capital of the state of Israel. And during this visit of Joe Biden, a representative administration said that they are demanding it, but then the U.S. administration backed down on that, saying no, the person had misspoke. Right. So far, so good.
So they're still pushing for the two-state kind of thing, right? Yeah. Where Jerusalem is pretty much...
We call it the two-state delusion. That's
where they want to push Israel into... going back to Jerusalem is for both of us, when in fact, partially it is the Temple Mount. They pray at the mosque, right? The Al-Aqsa Mosque, and Jews are barely allowed in there at all, even though it's supposed to be split 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they anytime they talk about negotiating peace, they say, we have to agree to go back to the pre-67 borders, which means dividing Jerusalem, including the old city, which would include the Temple Mount, would be in the hands of the Palestinians before we even negotiate. And our position has always been Jerusalem is the undivided capital of the Jewish people, and that. But we are not going to set any preconditions.
Well, that's what Biden is doing. He's following that right to the hilt of the southern border is so open that we're going to be back in the 13 colonies pretty soon. Think about it. I mean, we're going backwards.
You know what? His approval ratings are so low. He really has no power to make any demands of anyone, not in the United States, not in the Middle East. When a president comes in and his approval rating is high, or the army is behind him, or whatever it may be, he has a lot of power as the leader of the free world. But when you're the leader of the free world and you kind of turn around and no one's following you, you don't have a lot of power.
No one. And by no one, we're talking about Democrats too.
Yeah.
So
we're about the entire United States. What's his ratings? Like barely 30%.
29% in one poll. I don't know. It's going down. 88% of the people are I think maybe it's like 85 or 88. I forget, right. And maybe 10% of the people approve of them. And, right, and that's 8 out of 10 Dems too. It's not just.
So I actually think that's contributed a lot to this trip to Israel. That he has not made any demands of Israel, and Israel has not felt that they needed to make like very significant concessions before he, because Biden's not operating from a position of power.
He's almost a lame duck. They're looking for people to replace him.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, they're talking about Buttigieg.
Yeah. Oh, he's
terrible. And the guy from California. What's his name? The governor?
Yeah. Well, they're not discussing.
Biden leaves, and the governor of California, Newsom, is up there. He's scoping out the White House. They got him scoping up the White House while Biden's in Israel. Okay.
Well, I think Allah's approval is even lower than Biden.
Well, it could be. I don't know. I'm just worried about the elections is what I'm worried about. Now, Biden says to Bibi, he says, you know how much I love you. Is that the kiss of death or what?
Well, I think it could be he's positioning himself because Biden heard my prophecy last week, and he needs to position himself to cozy up who will be the new prime minister in Israel in a few months.
I'm sure he was listening to the show, which by the way brings us to the. Do you have the Ben and Jerry scoop?
Oh no.
Oh, you don't have that? Okay. I should have reminded you. We have it in like a bit. So
I can try to look for it real fast though.
All right. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it. And now it's time for the Ben and Jerry scoop of the day from Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. That's what it said anyway. So go ahead. All right. So what's the scoop of the day, my friend?
Well, I think I just gave it to you already, but you can't have a scoop every week. You can't
Wait a minute. No. That's not what you know. No. Hold on a minute. Hold on. You said just remind you of the scoop of the week, and now you're saying you can't do a scoop of the week?
Well, maybe the scoop of the decade or scoop of the the month, scoop of the year.
So you got nothing for me. Give me crickets.
Well, I guess my scoop is that
that's what you got for me. The crickets are coming back.
Yeah, basically, it's the summer. It's like people are.
Okay, so you have nothing.
I got nothing.
Well, and ironically, I just found the Rabbi Scoop sound. I just found it. So
yeah.
Well, I think this. I think that. Biden had said that he was not going to shake hands with anyone.
I know.
Other than the president and the prime minister in Israel. But when he got here, actually shook hands with Netanyahu.
But not the other ones.
And he met with Netanyahu for 20 minutes, the head of the opposition. So I think
he knows.
Dave, that's reinforcing.
So that's reinforcing an old prophecy because it was last week's. I'm pretty demanding.
Ice cream doesn't go bad in a week, Dave. Come on, a scoop is
Well, if you leave it outside, it will.
Oh, well,
in the middle of summer. If you leave it outside for 2 weeks, it's going to be a problem, isn't it?
Got it.
All right, so how am I supposed to address the fact that I have this segment that you told me I should get? If you're gonna do that, Dave, you got to do something about it. You got to let me know. Okay, so I let you know, and now you say you can't do it.
All right, well.
So what am I supposed to do now?
Because
I'm frustrated.
They're trying to boycott again, so we can't scoop it.
What's that? There's a boycott again?
Boycott. They're suing now. So
who's suing?
Ben and Jerry's is suing Unilever.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they still want to boycott Israel?
Correct. They lodged a lawsuit saying that Unilever overstepped, their bounds, and they're not allowed to do what they did. Grant.
Okay.
UCI.
All right. Well, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute?
They can go to our website, IsraelAlliance.org, or Facebook.com/Israel Alliance. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Way back when I had a girlfriend who was she was a surfer, and I miss her, but only in waves. Every time we do something like that, I get scared. That is a joke from like 2003. Okay, I'm finding my old jokes.
I'd be more concerned about the look in Lisa's eyes after you told that one.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't looking.
Or
Believe
even
me.
worse, wait till we get home.
Oh God. No, I'm going to work after the show, honey. All right. So thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat
All right,
Shalom.
guys.
Hi there in the background. Somebody's out there. They're getting in the picture. Who is that? Was that Yonit?
No, it's a friend.
A friend? A female friend?
No.
Well, this could get interesting.
Are you?
That'd be the scoop of the week right there.
Yeah, that would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, she's walking back and forth behind you. What are you doing?
Here.
He can't answer. Look at this. Oh my God! What have I
she's
caught up
out.
to?
She's the housekeeper.
Yeah, the housekeeper. Yeah, that's right. Well, hopefully
I'm at
after
my
this,
sister's house
hopefully after this, you can keep your house. Anyways, thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. How do you
All
meet
right,
the
Shabbat
kids and
Shalom.
whoever the housekeeper
All right.
is? Bye.
All right.
See
Take
ya.
care, everybody.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Okay, that was fun, wasn't it?
So you're in trouble now, and now you're getting Rabbi in trouble.
Well, isn't that the way it's supposed to work? That's
Sure.
how us Jews work.
Yeah.
You know, we get into trouble and then we push it on somebody else. You know.
Look what he's doing though.
Well, he's the rabbi. He's supposed to carry my sins too. You know. And he sinned. He said I would get a scoop every week. I want my scoop. Okay.
I haven't even heard this bit yet, the Rabbi Scoop one. I've missed it because I was gone.
I know. Well, it's a whole thing.
I did find it, though. I do have it.
He gave me a lot. I mean, look, he prophesied a lot of stuff that didn't take place for a while that was not in the news. The Abraham Accords, the moving of the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. All right, who is that?
Just some other Rollin number, so.
Yeah, give it to me. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Chuck from Rolla.
Hi, Chuck. What's up?
Well, you know how concealed carry is kind of a private kind of thing? You know, you wouldn't want to advertise if you've taken a concealed carry class because, you know, people may try and take your weapon from you kind of thing if they know you're carrying. I mean, that's the whole purpose of concealment is the privacy and, you know, anyway, you know, how in California, they published the names of like 300,000 concealed carry permit holders.
Wow.
Really?
You know, well, yeah. And every once in a while they do that in various states, you know, the anti-gunners, you know, they get a hold of the list and from the state and they publish it and whatnot. Anyway, what I'm calling about is locally, there's going to be a concealed carry class in Rolla. I think it's in September. I saw an ad on Facebook, and included in the ad or part of the ad for this private business that's doing this concealed carry class, they've got a photo of, I assume it's a recent class that attended their training. There was like 12 or 14 people on the face of the advertisement, and here's 14 people who took the class, and they got their picture plastered all over Facebook that they took the class. And I think that is just really stupid to post your photo that you've taken a concealed carry class.
Well,
what do you think?
What do I think about that? It's the first time I've heard it. You know, unless they all approved it, I would say it's probably shouldn't have been done.
Yeah.
All right, I would agree with that. Yeah, it's none of
taken part
anybody's business.
Assisting in concealed carry classes, and there's even been legislators and stuff taking the class that I was helping with, and they certainly don't want their name published. You know that they've taken this class, and here we've got a local concealed carry business. Training business that's publishing the photos of people who've taken their class, basically to help with advertising. But man, I think that's just blowing the privacy thing just completely out of the water. Well,
it sounds
it's
like
not
it to
something
me.
you want to advertise. I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't. I don't think unless people all agree to it, I would say no. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Right, honey?
Well,
do you agree with that?
Right.
Yeah, my wife
and
agrees.
I'm sure. I think there actually might be one tonight if I read that ad correctly, but I did see it, Chuck.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right,
I think JJ would.
Anyway, I'm
just
certainly. People need to be aware when they take these classes. When the instructor says, "Okay, let's all get together for a photo now," and you need to back away, stay away from that if you're taking that class.
All right. Well, thank you, Chuck. Thanks for the
you
call.
betcha.
I appreciate it. You have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
All right. We finally have. Is this who I think it is? Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Adolf. How you doing today?
Yeah, you called all through the rabbi's interview. And I can't answer the phone during the rabbi's interview. I wish you'd figure out how to get it on a computer and watch the show, so you know when there's an empty spot.
I finally got on it.
Oh, you're on it now. Good.
Yeah, I'm on it now.
Well, listen to it, and when you get a hole you want to call, that's great.
Yeah,
all right.
We're working on it.
What can I do for you today?
I think Biden and Obama have had a meeting again because now they want to get back to the old Iran.
Well, they've been talking about doing that for a long time, ever since he got back into office, I believe.
Oh,
or
yeah.
even before.
Yeah, it's another term of Obama's is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it is, yeah. Only you know what, Obama, he was horrible, but he was a little bit classier than Biden. Biden's an oaf. And he has been, and Obama was a little cleverer, Wouldn't you agree?
Well, that's why he was selected because they just wanted another term for Obama, and that's the way to get it.
Yeah. Okay. So what else you got for me?
Not a whole heck of a lot. I do have one thing to say.
What do you say? Go ahead.
Well, me and Joanne have been putting up with each other for 50 years today.
Well, mazel tov.
Congratulations. Happy
Not
anniversary.
to you, to her. Oh, my
God.
gosh.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Joanne, are you okay?
50
years.
Smiling.
Holy cow. All right. Well, that's terrific. And here's something for you. Old rulers never die. They just don't measure up. There you go. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. Just thought I'd end a little conversation with that.
Speaking of the food industry,
yes,
I'm pretty sure you know a lot about milk.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
okay.
well, you should.
I
You drink it
sell
once
it.
in a while, I would imagine.
I drink it
At any rate,
sometimes. Yes.
What does a cow say once she's out of milk?
She says, "Moo, empty."
She says nothing. Utter silence.
Utter silence. All right. Okay, that was terrific. All right, get off my phone. Have a great weekend. Hi to Joanne. All right, thanks for calling.
You already did.
All right, thanks.
Have a great anniversary.
Have a great one.
Yeah, great anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow, what did she put up with all those years? Oh, my goodness. And we got Joseph Dalton over here on board.
That's a long time.
We've got, he's Good Morning Patriots. Thank you, Joe. Joe's a Patriot, too, out there in the Pregnancy Resource Center. And what else do we have? Anything? Nope. Okay. So let's see. It's a busy show. I have to kind of fit things in, make sure I get everything done. I want to do 15 and 16 or do I want to do that yet? No, I don't want to do that yet because I'm going to do it in somebody else's interview. I think it might be Cheryl's. So I'll let you know about that. But okay, go ahead and play 4 and 5, please.
But Joe Biden doesn't want to know. He ignored the report he ordered. He ignored the findings of his own intelligence agencies. That's bizarre when you think about it. And if you think that's weird, how about this? This February, Biden canceled a counter-espionage program called the China Initiative. Now, the point of that program was stopping the rampant threat of our national security secrets by the government of China. But the White House decided, to very little fanfare, that somehow that program was racist, and therefore it had to end. That means the Chinese government can now spy and steal with impunity. Not since Franklin Roosevelt colluded with Joseph Stalin has an American president done anything like that. But Joe Biden didn't hesitate. And then he kept doing things like this. Now Biden says he plans to end tariffs against China, tariffs that Donald Trump put in place and that China has been complaining about ever since. Joe Biden's Justice Department has just arrested the man responsible for those tariffs. His name is Peter Navarro. He was the most effective China hawk in the Trump administration. Last month, Peter Navarro was handcuffed at a Washington, D.C. airport and dragged to jail in leg irons. Why? Supposedly because of January 6th. But Peter Navarro had literally nothing to do with January 6th. He wasn't even there. But Joe Biden didn't stop there. Steve Bannon was the other notable voice in the Trump administration, warning about the growing power and malicious intent of the Chinese government. In November of last year, Steve Bannon was also arrested by the Biden Justice Department, also on absurd pretexts. So take a step back. What's the message here? Well, it's unmistakable. Don't criticize the Chinese government or we will throw you in jail.
All right, I did a whole thing on Tucker here. I do a lot of Tucker Carlson, I know. But to me, he's coming up with some of the most important news stories of the day. You know, when they got them dead to rights on Hunter Biden, and they've left all this evidence. There's 150 cases of that need to be investigated that are coming out of Biden, and this is acknowledged by the DOJ, and yet they're obviously burying this as much as they can. A lot of it has to do with Janet Yellen, the gal that does the Treasury and all that, and you know, a lot of money going back and forth between foreign countries and the Bidens. You know, and it's out there, and it's in this computer, and we're going to prove that Joe Biden knew all about this and lied about it for years, that he had any connection to his son's businesses, outside businesses. Well, that's not true. Okay, so we know that. Okay, let's play. You know, people are coming down with this disease a little bit more. Let's do ivermectin. Ivermectin, I take it by the pill. Ivermectin, the pandemic it will chill. Ivermectin, I let it take its course. Ivermectin, now I'm neighing like a horse. You know, we take ivermectin. We get it from your mom, right?
No, feed store.
The feed store, okay. We get it from the feed store.
We haven't taken it for a while, though.
So we're eating horse stuff.
Or as the Dems call it, the horse pill.
The horse pill, yeah.
It's not even a pill.
I figure if I could sing about it, I'll get famous like Joe Rogan.
I don't see that.
You know?
I don't see that happening.
What's that?
I don't see your singing of that song getting you famous like Joe Rogan.
Well, you know, it's an original song. I can't find the tune that I used.
Boy,
so I must have figured it out.
Can you not find the tune? That is correct.
Well, I didn't say I was a professional, but I mean that's pretty original material right there. You know, the song itself is original, isn't it?
Don't forget, you have the whole Dave Weinbaum music collection here as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
In addition to
you know what I got to do right now, or you got to do? You got to call up my next interview. Cheryl Chumley's coming up here very shortly.
You made up a new word for ivermectin too.
All right, let's play her song if she's on. There we go. Till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is an online editor to the Washington Times. She's Novak Journalism Fellow. She's a private eye. She is a star of TV and podcasts and the author of Lockdown and the media goddess to the Dave Weinbaum Show, please welcome all the way from Virginia, Cheryl Chumley.
Good morning, you guys. How are you?
Good morning. I have to knock down my little pile here to get to your book. It was on top, but I have a little statue that was standing on it. So we're good. How are you, Cheryl?
I'm doing well.
Good. So as the 1-6 committee tries to impeach Trump yet again without due process, we believe that the next elections will be honest, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't get away with that twice, can you?
Well, you can always hope for the best, but you're hearing the narrative already from the left, from the globalists and the Democrats about the need to go back into face masking, the need to social distance. They're starting to test again if you fly in and out of Canada. California is considering face masking. They're due to make a decision on August 29th. This is sort of laying the groundwork to me for another COVID-type lockdown, which is going to usher in calls to do mail-in balloting and absentee balloting in November once again.
No doubt. Now, the WHO also came out yesterday and said we need to start masking up again. So here we go. Just a wild guess. This massive masking, more vaccines have anything to do with the 22 elections? So you think that's directly related?
Well, I honestly think it's kind of the other way around. I think that all this stuff about taking COVID and COVID variants and using them to exploit fear to seize powers from individuals is really a move from the global order, from the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization. And they see their time to cripple America, to target America is now, because Joe Biden, of course, is feckless and is weak and is on board with this globalist vision anyhow.
Right.
So, but I see the Democrat Party in America taking advantage of this globalist push to use it to exploit fears, to justify locking people down in time for the election so that they can, once again do their fraudulent claims that you can't go and vote in person.
Sure. And just in case somebody in Branson didn't know, they have just shut down Macau, the world's largest gambling hub, just off of China, as well as 25 million more people for 2 weeks due to COVID increase in China.
And China has taken the next step, right, which this is something that we in America should look out for as a warning sign. China is actually forcing their citizens to wear trackers so the government can keep track of when they're supposed to quarantine at home, whether or not they leave the house.
Well, let me play you something, 15 and 16, and I want to get your opinion about this because I know you've got one about it. Hit it, please.
You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you're
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence. Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know.
exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Now, Cheryl, you're probably sitting there scrunching your face like I did. Of course, you've seen this before, but I've seen some liberal publications come out and say she just cleaned his clock. I mean, what do you? I'm astounded. I thought he cleaned her clock. Tell me.
Well, yeah, all he did was point out how ridiculous the left has become, really evil,
Yes.
because she cleverly, or really not so cleverly, but the left in its own eyes thinks it's clever by doing this. She brought in other issues. She conflated issues with the abortion question that was on the table, and she started pretending as if Senator Hawley was ignoring the idea that transgender people exist simply because he insists that only women can have babies. And the left does this quite frequently. They'll take an issue and then they'll jump to another issue and slide it in there as if the two are related, and they're not. And this just shows the lunacy of the left, though. To say that men can have babies is lunatic. Let's just be clear on that. It's not true. Women have babies. That's biology, that's God-given, God-ordained. It's truth, and the left just wants to buck this truth. And the fact that they're winning in some publications,
Yeah.
What a sign of the times.
Well, yeah,
right?
you laugh, but this is serious stuff. It is serious because it's going to cause hatred and violence and separation. It's going to expand on what we've already had in that area. So I don't know. It's just nuts. But we got to talk about it because it's out there. I mean, it's a shame it's out there, but it is. And speaking of women's sports and rights of women, how does the transgender argument work for these issues?
Yeah, well, they're falling on their own deceptions, right? The left has just moved this whole transgender idea so far down lunatic fringe lane that they're starting to choke on their own deceptions, because it used to be the Democrats crying about women's rights and feminism and pushing for equality in sports and athletics on campus, which isn't owned just by the Democrats, by the way. The Republicans have pushed for that as well, but the Democrats claim it as their issue. And now, these women are being dismissed. They're being sidelined because of the transgender issue. What is happening with women's rights in America right now?
Yeah, I mean, you got this problem with women, and women's sports are being destroyed. Women have come a long way with their own sports. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my wife comes and says, "Are you watching women basketball?" I says, "Yeah." Because and why are you watching women's basketball? Because they're really good, and I enjoy good basketball. I enjoy good softball. Sometimes I'll watch women's softball and things like that. Here's a sports guy over here, J.P. Maxwell. He's got his own sports show.
Yep.
You kind of like women's sports, don't
I
you?
talked about on my show 2 weeks ago whenever University of Oklahoma women's softball team won the championship, and they've won several in the last few years, kind of considered might be a dynasty at this point, and we had that discussion, should they be in as one of the greatest dynasty teams of all time. So it's come a long way.
Do you want men who become women to be taking the place of actual women? I mean, it goes against everything liberals talk about, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And just speaking personally for for a minute, I would be ticked off if I were in my college years right now, because I was very athletic. When I was young, I played baseball. I played baseball in boys' little league. I played softball with women. I played softball with men and women in the Army. I played field hockey. I loved sports. It was really the number one reason I went on to college, to be honest. And if I had my slot filled by a boy pretending to be a girl, I would be ticked off. And I know that there are a lot of female athletes out there now who are similarly as ticked off as I am about this scenario, but they're afraid to speak out. They're afraid of speaking up and being sidelined by their coaches or by their administrators.
Yeah, and they will be too. They are getting punished for speaking out against us, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's too bad. Well, we got to fight back. I mean, it's wrong. Starbucks just closed 16 stores, mainly in Dem-run cities, 5 in Seattle. So what's happened? The homeless have taken over the bathrooms. They got tired of people coming in their bathrooms, and they blocked them from coming in the bathrooms, and then they got a whole lot of bad publicity for that. So they opened up the bathrooms again, and now they got people living in their bathrooms, shooting up and everything else. And they had to close them for the safety of their crews. And these Starbucks in like Seattle, where it was founded, these were big stores. These were big, giant business makers.
Yeah, well, that's what Starbucks gets for campaigning for years now on a social justice leftist cause and shaking its fingers at Americans who don't want to play along with that same leftist leanings and so forth. And look, reality strikes, and too bad for Starbucks, but that's what they get.
That kind of thing makes people aggressive in other restaurants, like the restaurants I happen to have, and that bothers me a lot. We don't let people linger in there forever. We boot them.
And you shouldn't.
We boot them, and they're there, they eat, and give them a couple more minutes, and then they're out. And we've had that problem a little bit in a small town in Missouri. Now the Dems, they're looking like they want to replace Biden and Kamala. I don't think they really want Kamala in there. Do you? But let me. That was rhetorical. And they want. I'm thinking maybe they want Buttigieg and Newsom. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
And who would do which?
I mean, Gavin Newsom seems to be coming forward as the talked about candidate for the Democrat Party. Hillary Clinton is still being whispered in the background, but I just don't see it.
She's got her own show,
Yeah. I mean, it's time for the Democrats to move on from the Clinton era. And I think Gavin Newsom, actually, I don't want him to run or win, but I think he is one of the better figures that the Democrats could run in 2024.
What do you mean the better figures? Because he's got good hair?
Well,
seriously,
kind of. Really,
yeah, okay. He looks.
Democrats,
I'm
by
going to
and
grant you
large,
that
are low information
because he
voters,
does
right?
look like somebody that could play a president in a movie.
That's what I'm saying. The Democrats are low information voters, so they go by things like looks, and they go by things like somebody who is well spoken, even though they don't say anything that's worth hearing. That's why people love Pete Buttigieg, and Democrats love him. So I do think that Newsom would be a candidate that the Democrats could see some success with.
So, Trump running? Is he running?
Yeah, I think he's running.
Yeah,
and
I think he is too.
My column tomorrow in the Washington Times will be Donald Trump for President 2024. So.
Oh, I like that. All right. Can't wait. Still reading your book. Haven't finished it yet. I haven't had time lately. But show it again. Lockdown. Now, how's that? That thing is a bestseller, isn't it?
It's doing well, and really, I think it's resonating even more as time goes by because people are seeing the truth in it. That the left isn't going to let this go.
Your timing on that book is absolutely perfect, in my mind. Okay, because the lockdowns are still prevalent. It's not going away, is it?
Yeah, we're headed back to. We are. I hate to say this, but I'm reading the tea leaves. I just see it happening.
Yeah, I think you're right because they're starting to do the same things over and over again. I just hope we won't be stupid enough to fall for that anymore. That's what I pray for. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you and buy your books?
At CherylChumley.com, and you can get my book there, or you can get it anywhere books are offered: Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon. Thank you.
What did the melon say to his girlfriend?
What?
I can't elope. And I want you to know that's
My daughter will like that.
Tell her it's a non-gender specific.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know whether they're female or I don't know which is which. All right.
Right.
So I'm clear on that. All right. Thank you, Cheryl. You have a great weekend. Okay. Always a pleasure.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Media got us to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Boy, is she good. I mean, and I didn't know I knew she was a runner. I found out just about something different from her. Not every week, but a lot. I should know that. She's an athlete. Okay? Playing, a lot of great sports, baseball, and Little League.
And I made sure that on Facebook in the comments and also on DaveWeinbaum.net, there's a link to CherylChumley.com and also a link directly to where you can buy her book from Amazon as well.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm reading this lockdown book. It is great. I mean, really goes into what's going on politically with this breach of democracy. Wow, we're going to lose our democracy. Well, they're mandating all this stuff. Now, right now, you have a huge problem in certain industries, like, let's say, airlines. Airlines can't find anybody to. They can't find people to fly the planes. And they had an idea of what to do about this. And I forgot to mention this to Cheryl, but Cheryl talked about this in one of her columns. Is that Buttigieg, the head of transportation for the Biden administration, possible candidate for president if Biden steps down or is kicked out. And what someone suggested was that you raise the retirement age from 65 to 67. Ergo, you get a bunch more pilots, experienced pilots. Refuses to do it. Why? It makes about as much sense as turning off all of our gas in these pipelines and making it impossible for people to mine for gas. And it's ridiculous. It causes more difficulties and more inflation type things, and people are miserable on these airlines that are screwed up because of this. So, all right, we got to do another commercial, don't we? Let's do one more thing. Let's do Reagan, and then we'll get to a commercial here.
Less than one family out of 7 in the Soviet Union owns an automobile. Most of the automobiles are driven by the bureaucrats. So an order went out one day to the police that anyone caught speeding, anyone, no matter who, gets a ticket. Well, Gorbachev came out of his country home, his dacha. He was late getting to the Kremlin. There was his limousine and driver waiting. He told the driver to get in the back seat, he'd drive it. Down the road he went. They passed 2 motorcycle cops. One took out after him. And pretty soon he's back with his buddy. And his buddy says, well, did you give him a ticket? And he said, no. Well, he said, why not? Oh, he said, they're too important. Well, he said, we're told to give anybody a ticket, no matter who it is. Oh, he said, no, this one was I could. Well, he said, who was it? He said, I couldn't recognize him. But his driver was Gorbachev.
Oh, it was a great joke. Charlie Cole sent me that joke out of Wyoming. So, good stuff. Listen, I'm going to do another commercial stop here, and keep listening, guys. We've got a couple great people coming up here. We've got Chris Adamo and Elad Hakim, all the way, one from Missouri and one from Boca Raton. And they're both great patriots and smart people. And that's what we want, all right? Hit it, please.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned. Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
All right, we're back. And, let's cover a few things. If you want to call the show, 573-578-2700. Get it off your chest. Save America, for goodness sakes. Let's do that. Megyn Kelly, remember her? She used to work at Fox. Now she has a podcast. So she asks Assange, Julian Assange, of WikiLeaks fame, why WikiLeaks doesn't report dirt on Donald Trump. And Assange says there isn't any. Isn't that interesting? And it goes along with the fact that Hillary invented the Russia hoax, and was outed by her own campaign manager as in court under oath.
Yep. And
so
WikiLeaks is one of those groups that if there's something to find,
WikiLeaks,
they're going to find it. So
yeah, oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah, and I don't see him being partisan towards Trump or against him. But there is nothing to talk about there. 62,000 to be kicked out of the Army for refusing to take the vaccine. Another brilliant Biden move. Here we are. We're kicking people out. We can't get anybody in the Army now, possibly because they've seen what a tragedy is and they see how they treat their own soldiers. How many soldiers are still in Afghanistan from the alleged abdication of our troops? How many Afghans who helped the United States, how many of them are dead or under siege? And how is China doing with all that great equipment we left them just miles away from the Chinese border in the military outpost that we had there? What was the name of that? Bingham or?
Yeah, I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
Like yeah, and we left them $85 billion worth of the top tanks in the world, and now not only do they have the idea of how to make these, but so does Russia and other enemies.
And anybody in the military says that if you have to end up doing like a quick withdrawal, like they did, the first thing you do is you destroy intelligence and equipment.
Yeah.
You don't leave it behind.
Or you take it with you.
Or take it with you if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you destroy it.
Yeah.
None of that was done.
Exactly.
Really sad.
I mean, this is traitorous stuff. Yep. I don't care who you are. It's traitorous stuff. And we're gonna talk a lot more. I'm gonna play a couple more clips from Tucker Carlson because he really gets into the Beijing thing and to the laptop because it proves so many crimes. And you almost wonder. In fact, I saw somebody ask a psychiatrist of why is Hunter doing this? Why is he doing it? Okay. And so the psychiatrist says, well, there's something there. There's something that either he's jealous of his father getting all this fame or other family members, or he doesn't feel like he's being treated right. So he's left all these clues purposely to get his father in trouble. And I find that very interesting because I don't understand why anybody would put up with that. I guess there's so much in the tank for him. I know he lost another son, Bo, to cancer, I believe, and maybe that's why he sticks with him. But I don't know, maybe somebody else has insight. They could call the show. The Iran deal. The Saudis and the UAE are have stiffed Iran deal. The Saudis and UAE don't want the Iran deal because the Arabs are scared of Iran too. And now today, Biden is in Saudi Arabia begging for oil when he's got oil in the ground here that's more than anybody in the world. We have more oil reserves than anybody. And Trump expedited that, and we're talking about $2 glass or gas, maybe even $2 glass if that's what you need to make glass. And so it was really good. So the Iran deal, Saudis are against it, and they are against Iran because they're enemies. They're enemies, and I don't know. I wonder what that discussion is going to be like in Saudi Arabia. Ukraine war. Germany and France, they want out. They want a settlement. There are other countries closer to Russia, like Romania and Poland. I think Finland too. are gung ho to win it because they think they're next. Now the UK also wants in too. They want them defeated, even though they're not as close. Find it very interesting to watch how NATO is working because I think they got two new ones, Sweden and Finland. If I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken on that, but they have been approved to become NATO, but they're not official yet. Now, Biden, a Catholic, was once pro-life, believe it or not, and he's agitating for women to demonstrate wherever they can, including in front of the homes of the justices, the Supreme Court justices, and he's also put out a 5-step plan that women can use to kill babies. And kill babies right up, not only until they're born, but also kill babies after they're born. Isn't that murder? Is that not murder? No. Anyways, Joe Dalton has a message for you. JP, send me that McDonald's logo you just put up. What McDonald's logo?
No, it's the one that's on the commercial whenever we play it.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, I can do that. Yep.
All right.
Later today, I'll get it over.
Okay, super. All right, any other messages? No? Okay. All right, let's do the Brit and pregnant.
I love America. It's an amazing place. And do you know what I've come to realize, right? Americans, you basically do everything that we do, but you do it bigger and you do it better. Like, we have stupid people here. But your stupid people are world class. And that is not me saying, oh, all Americans are stupid. No, America also has the smartest people on the planet. What I'm saying is that when America does stupid, you do stupid. Like, our village idiot is in a park shouting at clouds. Yours is president.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli. I got about 50 feet out, and suddenly, the great beast appeared before me. I tell you, he was 10 stories high if he was a foot. As if sensing my presence, he let out a great bellow. A huge tidal wave lifted me, tossed me like a cork, and I found myself right on top of him, face to face with the blowhole. I could barely see from the waves crashing down upon me, but I knew something was there. So I reached my hand in, felt around, and pulled out the obstruction. What is that, a Titleist? A hole-in-one.
You know, I hate to tell you this, but I actually found on this TV, and I didn't think we had the channels for it because I'm in my office. We have the channel for the British Open. I've actually got the British Open on while I'm doing the show, and I've never done anything like that before, but it's cool. I think Tiger Woods is out of it. Cameron Smith is first, and Dustin Johnson is second. Dustin Johnson, he's already in the new Saudi league. What do they call that league?
The Live Tour.
The Live Tour, LIV. Mm-hmm. All right. So there's a lot of big controversy going over in golf. There's a lot of people that don't like that. They don't like the fact that these guys left golf, including Tiger Woods doesn't like it. and these guys are, they're making big money, and
big money.
There's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and I don't know. I'm kind of in the, Saudi Arabia. Supposedly, we shouldn't be talking to them for some reason. Israel is about ready to make them a partner in the Abraham Accords. So why not? Who are you going to make peace with? Your friends or your enemies? Well, maybe making friends with your enemies is maybe a lot more effective.
The rumor is this Live Tour is paying, I think, Dustin Johnson. I think it was reported $125 million to compete.
Yeah, I believe that.
Without even having to win, just show up.
Too. Yeah. Who's going to pass up that kind of money?
Back in the day, Tiger Woods wouldn't have either. If he'd had that opportunity, he would have taken it. So
that he would have, or would?
Oh yeah, he would have.
Yeah. Well, he's against this. He's already made his money, and I don't know. I don't have an. If I was in the shoes of one of those guys, I don't know. I'd have to look at it, but I certainly would consider it.
Dustin Johnson he's a pretty good golfer.
Oh, he's a real good golfer.
And he's made millions with the PGA, but this one-time payout that he's getting from this almost doubled his career earnings in one weekend.
So how are you going to?
They're going to take the money.
How are you going to say no to that? I mean, you're going to support your family or whatever. Yeah, I'm still working on my game, folks. 73 years old, and I'm still working on my game.
Maybe I need to start practicing more if they're going to give that kind of money out.
Well, I've got a 12-year-old grandson who plays golf, and he's pretty damn good. Okay, and he's I don't know. He played in the tournament yesterday. I got to find out how he did, but because I was doing show prep all day yesterday, and I've talked to him. I've talked to his father. I says, and he's very serious about it, and he wants to further that. Now he plays football, and he also wrestles, and there's nothing this kid can't do. But I'm thinking future-wise, I think he'd be much better off if he focused on golf. I have mentioned that to him, but I'm not pressuring him or anything. But I think he ought to really, if he can become really good in golf, that's a hell of a way to make a living, isn't it?
It's a good way to make money without having to work all the time or take contact like they do in football.
Exactly.
And all that. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm thinking of injuries too. Even baseball, that'll wear you down pretty good. The Cardinals, speaking of baseball, they look pretty worn down. What the hell's the matter with these guys? Where's Yachty?
Rumor is he's starting rehab and is supposed to be back. That sounds terrible the way I say it. Like he's a rehabilitation for his knee. I'll specify here.
Well, they said that he was like missing MIA in spring training for a while, and that he came back kind of out of shape. Was that his knee?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, he is getting older. He's caught a lot of innings, so.
Well, I don't understand
his
how
body's
he does
telling it. But he lost like a ton of weight about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
he was a lot heavier than he used to be, and he lost a ton of weight because he said, for me to catch, I've got to have it off because my knees won't take it. So
well, that's smart.
I don't know.
He did a great job.
Yep.
All those years, and now sort of the slump has coincided with him being away. He went out of the country, went back to Puerto Rico to rehab, so to speak.
Yep.
And the Cardinals went to hell.
They claim that he's supposed to be back the first week of August to start back.
Well, I guess that's enough time to salvage the season, I hope.
Hopefully.
You wonder who's important to that team. Obviously Goldschmidt is, and they got a bunch of really good young guys. But, when they all go on a slump like that, even the pitching staff isn't that bad. No. But when you go on a slump like that, it really hurts.
It's just the facts. I'm not saying that I believe in this completely or not, but the record when Harrison Bader was in, they're a lot better than when he's out, and he's been out as well with injury. So Tyler O'Neill just came back. We'll have to see if this team can get going.
Yeah. Well, Tyler was back.
Yep.
0 for 4, but I don't know what happened to him. What happened to Bader? Where's Bader?
Bader has plantar fasciitis, and he's been out for about 2 weeks now already. Yeah.
What about DeJong?
He's down in the minors because of his performance.
Well,
that's why they
sucked.
brought up Brendan Donovan and all them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Brendan Donovan's done a good job.
Yep.
Saps. What's the guy's name? Sosa. Sosa's up there. He's very.
He's a good fill-in player.
He's very, very inconsistent.
Yep.
But they're young guys. Oh, this guy, this Hensley, is that his name? The pitcher?
Helsley.
Helsley? Holy cow, is he good. What has
100
he got?
miles an hour.
What has he got? 100? What's his ERA? Like point?
It's not much.
2 or something like. I mean, he's amazing. This guy.
He was elected to the All-Star game on a vote from his fellow players.
Oh, I bet you.
Because he's good. He's
really,
really good.
Oh, my God, what a closer.
Yeah.
Too bad they couldn't use him in that 7-6 game. They got some good pitching. And Wainwright is still a great pitcher. Yep. He's probably going to play next year, isn't he?
They claim it's supposed to be him and Yachty and Alberts last year together. My thing is Yachty's missed a lot of time, so is Yachty going to decide to – I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm not convinced that they're all three going to walk away. We'll see what happens, though. They could prove me wrong.
Yachty might, and Yachty might become part of the staff.
They have to.
I think Yachty, you want to keep him because he has so much experience handling pitchers and strategy and all this stuff, and smart offensively.
Make him your catcher coach and just keep him around.
Catcher coach.
Yep.
I'd make him more than that because he could make a great base running coach.
Well, they have,
and he's not fast at all. He's terrible.
They have some that are saying that they think eventually he could be a Major League Baseball manager.
Oh, I don't doubt
someday.
it.
So.
I don't doubt it. It's interesting too because he doesn't speak English that well.
No.
However, that being said, once I go back to when about 30 years ago, I had a gal who worked for me who was from China, and she didn't speak English, but she was so good. I made her a manager, okay, and somehow she got the information back to them. I don't know how she did it, but she got the information to the crew through broken English and part Chinese, and they understood her. That was incredible to me, but boy was she terrific, and smart, and saw everything that was taking place, and knew what to do and when to do it. All right, coming up in a couple of minutes, we've got Chris Adamo, and I say right now we do the cop. We haven't done the cop. The cop and pregnant.
Recording me makes you feel safer. That's fine. I support you in doing that. But here's what's going to happen next. You're going to do me a favor, and I'm going to do you a favor so we can both go on about our day.
What favor can I do for you?
You're going to slow it down when passing through here. We got a lot of traffic. I'm going to rip that Biden-Harris bumper sticker off the back of your car so people don't think you're an idiot.
Take this pill, and the pain of childbirth will be transferred to the father. I don't feel anything.
That's so funny.
Mailman delivering the package.
And the one guy did the whole thing. One guy was the doctor, was the husband, and then the mailman. That's incredibly funny. All right, well, coming up shortly, we've got Chris Adamo, and I think we're going to do a few more clips. Let's do clip 6, clip 7.
Now, if you happen to be watching all of this from Beijing, as Chinese leaders definitely have been, you would be applauding. Joe Biden just arrested your loudest critics. How gratifying is that? Things are going well for you. You already control Canada, whose brain-dead prime minister is effectively a Chinese lackey. Now the most powerful country in the world is doing exactly what you want it to do. You'd be thrilled by this. You'd be especially thrilled to see Joe Biden destroy America's single greatest asset, which is its domestic energy supply, and make the United States entirely dependent on Chinese technology for wind and solar projects. If you're the Chinese government, this is the masterstroke. This is the checkmate. Once you control a country's energy grid, you control that country. If you're watching all of this from Beijing, you would find it especially amusing to have the President of the United States sell you his country's strategic petroleum reserve, even as he declared oil and gas off limits to his own population. If you could pull that off, you would know you were entirely in charge of the U.S. government. You could make Joe Biden do anything. But of course, you already knew that because you've seen it in action. When American forces left Afghanistan, Joe Biden turned over Afghanistan's entire mineral wealth, which is vast, to the Chinese government. That would include gold and coal and oil and gas, lithium, rare earth minerals, resources the United States needs to make smartphones, automobiles, power our energy grid. But Joe Biden handed all of that to the government of China. And then he kept going. Biden also dropped the Trump administration's efforts to ban Chinese surveillance programs that pose as social media apps. That means WeChat and TikTok.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our next guest, and there he is right there. And we're going to play his song and then introduce him. All right, this man will go down in history as one of the authors of a book in the top 100 in its category. He's a conservative. That book is, by the way, Rules for Defeating Radicals. And he's a conservative who left Wyoming when they stopped selling pizza, apparently. I don't know what other reason anyone would want to leave Wyoming. Please welcome all the way from Missouri now, Chris Adamo. Are you sunburned or?
No, we're working on the lighting. I am kind of red. I've been outside quite a bit. It's a long story. You don't want to hear all of it. I do have to correct something though.
Oh, sure.
They have pizza in Wyoming, and if you ever get to Cheyenne, you got to go to Mondello's. They make the best pizza I've ever had. It's, I think, rated 5th in the country. But
really?
we got to set the record straight. I don't want you accused of fake news or anything. So.
Oh well. You know,
if you go there, tell them I sent you, and maybe they'll give you an extra piece for free.
Okay, or they'll, take me out in the yard and beat me up or something, right?
Kneecap you or something. One of the two. Depends on the mood.
Yeah, Guido, you still got Guido on my trail, don't you? Your cousin Guido? Yeah. Forget about it. Hey, let's play the Sicilian moment for him.
Uh-oh.
Let's do that. I haven't done this in a while. Make you feel right at home, right, Chris?
I got
the only people who get along with loafers are heels. Forget about it.
Yeah, here you are on my show, and you might call me a loafer and you a heel, or vice versa. But we're both a little wary. We both come from, the Mediterranean area in terms of our ancestors, and that's a good thing. I think
you guys were there first, as I recall. If I read the history book.
Well, you talk about the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire wasn't exactly a friend of the original Israelis, or not.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they weren't any friend of the Sicilians either. So,
well, it wasn't so much the Sicilians, but later on in life, I mean, they still have stuff in the Vatican they stole in the year 70. Did you know that?
I am not surprised.
There you go.
I won't even go into all that.
They got
today,
Jewish artifacts way back there. Me and you got to talk about this. We got
to
go to the
about
Pope.
The Vatican is the socialists leading it, but I better not even go there. I got other things we got to talk about.
Yeah. So, tell us about the book and how it got chosen and what category it's in.
It's in. I wish I had studied up on this right before we got here, because I saw this the other day and I sent it around to everybody. I haven't read it since, but it's something like Books on Political Philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's number 31, I believe,
out of 100.
Out of 100. And so, I'm trying to tell everybody about that. So far, nobody seems too impressed.
I'm impressed.
The number 1 book on the list looks like it's from a rhino, so I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing altogether.
Well, let's put it this way: at least you got on the list after them putting a rhino number 1, right? So, I want to ask you this. I'm going to seize your firearms, flood the country with criminals, arrest you if you try to defend yourselves and your families. So is this the message the Biden administration is sending to America?
It's one of them. I'm looking up things. Excuse me, I bumped the microphone there. Your clip there of Tucker Carlson was great. It points out the fact, well, what we have, our side doesn't admit it to ourselves yet. It's like, wow, this is really bad policy. Wow, Joe Biden is really incompetent as president. You don't get it. First of all, Joe Biden isn't doing anything. Secondly, this is not incompetence. This is all-out war on America. And I could show you every aspect of what's going on here. I got a whole list of things that on the surface looks like I'm changing the subject completely from what you're saying to a list of other items, but they all come back to the same thing. The left is waging war on us, and we're back to what we're always trying to do, play in color inside the lines, play nice, show them, they accuse us of something, and instead of saying that accusation is your effort to promote your vile agenda, we go on defensive and we say, oh, I really don't want you to think I'm such a bad person like you're accusing me. Let me show you why I'm not. And we start jumping through hoops for them. At that point, we're continually backing off. I know it's a broken record for me every time you have me on. I appreciate your patience with it, but it's still going on these terms. And until our side recognizes where we're at and says, we're not going to play this way anymore, we're not going to let these people box us in. We are in a war. We're going to start fighting this war. Until we do that, we're just going to keep losing.
One of the interesting things when, I don't know if you saw the clip of AOC dissing the 1-6 committee. Did you see that?
I saw your post on it, and yeah, it was rather surprising.
Yeah, it was shocking, actually, because she dissed the whole thing. She might have destroyed it because she claimed that there were films of people being let in by the Capitol Police.
And we have known that for how long?
We've known it for a long time, but did anybody besides her bring this up lately?
Right.
Anybody in the news that I can remember?
Any Republican. That should be of real Republicans.
Oh,
now, forget Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney's a traitor. We know that.
Oh,
so
she is.
We expect her to behave like one. But any real Republican, that should be the only response that we have to any mention of January 6th. The only response.
We got to wait for some clueless individual like AOC who probably doesn't know what the hell she's saying half the time. Although this I thought was very interesting from a prospect of she knows she's going to get hell from Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them for doing. I think I can't imagine they would say, "Oh, sure, go ahead and tell them that." After they spent all this money and time on this committee, can you?
There's so many dynamics here. First of all, using the terms AOC and knows in the same sentence is always risky, okay? Because I mean, she's really, she's really out there. On the other hand, I will tell you this: I have two very good friends who are dyed-in-the-wool conservatives. The top-notch, world-class musicians, both of them, dyed-in-the-wool conservatives. One of them was raised in Berkeley, California, okay, where by ultra-liberal parents who were fighting for pets to have personhood rights or something. Anyway, but what happened with both of these people is that at some point, just for one moment, they honestly assessed what was going on, and they said, Am I being lied to? Well, that's all it takes. When you're a leftist, I don't care how indoctrinated you are, but you ask if you're being lied to, and you be intellectually honest about it for 1 second, it's like the dam breaks.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility of that with AOC. There's been other times where she said things that I know Ted Cruz commended her for speaking the truth on something, but having said that, I just don't know how devoted she is to that ideology and all the flowery promises of Marxism that so many of them overlooked for so long. So we'll have to see how it shakes down. But she did speak the truth, and I've always said that a leftist who's in league with the leftist overseers 99% of the time makes them 1% a mortal enemy. And so this could be an eye opener for AOC.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely. I don't know whether she honestly believes that or not. Well, she knows it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
She believes. She knew from the get-go. All these people know from the get-go what actually went on. They're not stupid. They're just evil. All right, they're making stuff up. And so, what I'm saying is that AOC is somebody that knew this before. She wasn't, suddenly discovering the fact that we had cops opening the doors for Trump supporters, and they were giving them like tours. They were welcomed like they were, they were welcomed into the Capitol by these cops. They show them. They show it today in the same newspaper, the Examiner, Washington Examiner, where they had the spouting off by AOC. They show people welcomed in, and we used to see that all the time, and all of a sudden it disappeared for months. So I don't understand.
We saw it amongst our own, but
I don't understand what her motive is.
Right, and I'm with you 100% there.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that she's hitting a point, as a lot of people have over the years when despotism is ascending. My wife has a great book by a Christian woman in China. I think I've mentioned it to you before. She was the most ardent Maoist. She and her, I think, fiance, and all of a sudden he gets hauled off to jail because even though he was a Maoist, he wasn't a pure Maoist, and there was something where he didn't tote the party line properly, and boy, he's off to jail, and that's when her eyes were opened. And from that point forward, again, everything became clear, and she realized the monster that she had helped create. Maybe AOC's there. There are a lot of people across the country that that they voted for the Biden cabal, and they still haven't figured it all out. They still don't get everything that's going on, but something isn't making sense. And again, if you just even 1/4 of what Tucker Carlson was saying, if you have any grasp of even a tiny fraction of it, you're going, well, what are these people really about? Well, we know because we've seen their long-term agenda. We watched how Obama behaved while he was in, and probably still is, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He's even said, I wouldn't mind running this government from where I'm at as long as I could wear my sweats to do it and do it by phone. Yeah, he actually said that. I'm not so sure he's not doing that, except that he's got a real oaf in office. Yeah. And
that's one of those things that I don't know exactly how or why all of that came down the way it did. I think they were so desperate to not have Bernie because Bernie has a mind of his own, and so it's like, well, maybe we'll run with Biden. And then once Biden was showing that he is absolutely, and I say absolutely, suffering from dementia, Biden has no clue on any given day where he's at. People, I get so angry still. People say, well, Biden did this and Biden wants to do that. The other day, there was something about Biden signing an executive order attacking the Second Amendment. Now, first of all, the attack on the Second Amendment is real because that's what the leftists want. Right. But Biden, he could have been signing the Magna Carta. Yeah. He could have been signing the Communist Manifesto. He could have been signing the Declaration of Independence for all he knew. They put the paper in front of him and say, sign this, and who knows what he even puts on the paper. It might not even be his name.
He is actually showing these cheat cards. He's actually showing it so people could read it. I mean, it's really...
And that's not new. That's the...
I'd like to I have no mercy for this guy. He was always
or any of them. And the point
idiot.
Is, you're absolutely right. He is definitely not... He's not an innocent victim of all of this.
No.
But he is just a pawn at this point. A year and a half ago, I think it was, where they showed him walking past a Marine, and he says, "Turn right and salute." Now, if any Republican had done that, we would have gotten to the bottom of it. 24/7, the news would have talked about nothing else until we got to the bottom of that. But it was Biden, and so they just ignored it. But he's obviously got an earpiece, and he's being directed moment by moment. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not tinfoil hat stuff. We saw it. We've got the video.
No. Now, here's the thing. And that sounds like Biden, I realize. But 64% of Democrats want somebody different in office. And when somebody mentioned that to him, he says, yeah, But when I get renominated, 92% will vote for me from the Democrats. You think that's true?
I don't know exactly what's going on among the Democrats on Main Street. I have run into just enough people who they got their ears, their fingers stuck in their ears, their eyes squeezed shut, and they're yelling "la la la" as loud as they can, and they're saying things are going well in the country.
Yeah.
It's a lot worse than just gas prices. But again, using one of my analogies there, where you live on the penthouse and they're setting the basement on fire, and you're not going to necessarily notice that you're in trouble quite as quickly as the guy on the first floor will.
That's right.
And there's a lot of people in that mode that they're still, because that's all they hear on the evening news. That's all they read in their newspapers, and that's all that their school teachers are teaching their kids. And so that's their version of the world. And again, going back to Mao, that's how they do these things, and they keep tightening the noose until the point when you suddenly realize, yeah, you're in it too, and you're affected by it.
Yeah.
And by then, their plan is that it'll be too late for you to do anything about it.
62% of Biden officials who are charged with handling the economy have zero business experience. Comment on that. Now, why didn't they pick, Trump picked up some really good people in the business. Larry Kudlow would be a main example of that. He's brilliant, that guy. And all these other guys he had.
It goes back to the idea that these people are incompetent. No, they're not incompetent. They have a different agenda, and economic prosperity on our part, not only is that not their agenda, but that's poison to them. If you and I are doing well financially, if we're functioning, if the products are on the shelves, we're happy, we can live our lives, we can invest in our children's future and things like that. Guess who we don't need? We don't need Democrats. We don't need their helping hand that they're going to give us. That's why the biggest boon that they ever had, whether or not it was created and unleashed per specific timing, or it got loose from that lab in Wuhan by accident, the biggest boon they had was that whole pandemic thing. And you could tell how gleefully they were fanning the flames of fear, because it was throwing the country into a tailspin. We were becoming a dysfunctional manufacturing society. We're becoming totally dysfunctional just even meeting on the streets. And what does that do? That empowers the left. It's not incompetence. These economic advisors you're talking about,
right?
They do not want people who are good at business. They want people that have that Marxist agenda, that aren't the least bit have no shame when it comes to destroying what they see around them, and then smiling in your face and telling you it's good. They spit in your face and tell you it's raining.
Yeah.
And these people, this to them is success. When you see the anger, you see these things, it's success. We could talk about the Netherlands, what's going on there.
Right.
You got farmers that want to farm.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why wouldn't they want them to do that? Because they don't want a healthy, happy economy and a healthy, happy country where people are well-fed and taken care of. They can't seize power that way.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And similar stuff is happening to us. Just coincidentally, we're not getting any rain here in the Midwest. That means we're not going to have a great wheat crop at all. And then you've got the war going on in the Ukraine, where they're huge suppliers of wheat, them and Russia. So we're not going to get any of that. We're looking at a very, very harsh winter, I believe, in terms of food, and I believe a lot of that is intentional.
Well, I would fully agree with you that the predictions of disaster are intentional. Now, as far as the no rain, I'll be honest with you, I haven't monitored the climate closely enough to know if that's actually the case, because here at my end of the state here, we were getting lots of rain. It's been soggy around here. You might remember a few weeks ago where they had this 15,000 cattle supposedly died from the heat in eastern Kansas. And all of these ranchers, nobody asked them about what was going on. They're going, cattle dying because of the heat? We haven't seen this before. If
they haven't seen it? It didn't happen, or what?
Well, I don't know that it happened because of the heat. And I don't know that the idea that we're not going to get food has to do with a lack of rain, because again, like I said, at least right here we're getting plenty of rain. What I do know is, like the toilet paper shortages that we saw, that we have manufactured crises. Now, whether or not they're capitalizing on a situation where there actually isn't as much rain, or whether they put that out on the evening news and that's what everybody hears, and it's like, well, I'm looking around me and the ground's soggy, but maybe that's just in my county here.
Sure.
Either way, you have a manufactured crisis. Whether there's any reality to it, who can know?
And the lockdowns are coming back. They're talking about masks again. The CDC is out there is going to start masks, and they want all these babies to get vaccinated. Yep. Read the last VAERS report. It's on my site. Look at the chart on the amount of deaths that vaccines have caused, and add about 80% to it, because a lot of it hasn't been reported, because they have a big gap in when you get a shot. For 2 weeks, they can't record any of the data that happens to people. And a lot of the data, a lot of the bad occurrences and deaths are taking place in those 2 weeks.
Here again, we've got basic science telling us, that we can look at the facts and assess them like you just did there, or we can listen to the news telling us how to interpret it. So I know a young man back there in Wheatland that goes in to get a vaccine, a young, healthy man, and I think 5-8 days later or something, he's gone.
Yeah,
and nothing to see there. Nothing to see there.
And the death was whatever it was, a heart attack or whatever.
Right,
not related to vaccines.
People very close to me who were getting sick and took ivermectin and got better.
Yep.
And no, we have no scientific data for that.
Thanks to my lovely wife, we got ivermectin. You want me to sing my song?
No.
Oh.
No. Just say no. Just say no, Chris.
Talk him out of it, Lisa. You're close.
Ivermectin. I take it by the pill. Ivermectin. The pandemic, it shall chill. Ivermectin. I let it take its course. Ivermectin. Now I'm neighing like a horse.
That again.
Was that bad?
That was such a great example when that all happened, that you didn't just hear somebody on some news station say, well, yeah, this stuff's frequently used, for animal parasites. It was nationwide. It was blanketed. It was obvious that it was an orchestrated, coordinated effort to disparage the stuff.
Yeah.
And they use it for horses. They use penicillin for horses.
Right.
Does that make penicillin horse medicine? But every last media person, every last fake news minion, should call them, was referring to it as horse medicine. They were disparaging it. They didn't want you to use it. And I'll tell you the reason they didn't want you to use it is because the same people who are giving our oil away to the Chinese didn't want Americans getting better.
So why would Howard Stern back this BS? What has he got to do with it?
Howard Stern's a lowlife, and I guess that's about all I can say.
I don't know if he's a lowlife or not, but you would think that he poses as somebody that wouldn't be wanting to kill people.
There are a lot of people that again, human nature. If you have no guiding morals and principles in your life, the only thing that you have left is this desire to be accepted by the mob. And that's one of the things that they really capitalize in the school system is they pound this idiocy into these kids, this transgender poison into these kids. And by golly, if you don't accept it and tout the party line, you are going to be ostracized. You're going to be one of the outsiders. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people fold under that.
Now, let me ask you this. Texas, Wisconsin, Arkansas are claimed to have decertified, maybe even Georgia too, have been claimed to decertify the 2020 election, their support of the Electoral College there, and this by Trump. But I can't find that anyone else has proof of that. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing various stories. Some of those are actually coming from Republican Party organizations. They should have come out on November 5th of 2020, but what they've done is they've amassed the evidence and said this is wrong. Again, I will tell you, it's like we're out on a Major League Baseball game, and the guy steals the base, and as he's stealing the base, he gets tagged, and we all saw the guy get tagged, and the umpire says, no, he's safe.
Yeah, and you got
At that point, what are you going to do? Is the baseball team going to physically get up and go out in the field and drag the other player off the field? Or are you going to play by the rules according to the umpires? At some point, you see enough of this from the umpires, you go, you know what? The umpires are in on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're the one that's always saying fight back. How are we going to fight back, Chris?
Step one. And I always go back to step one because we'll deal with step two if we ever get the country to step one. Step one is we unilaterally refuse to play by their rules. We unilaterally speak the truth. You've heard me say it before. Anybody that says President Biden thinks or President Biden wants, stop right there. He's not the president. He wasn't elected. I'm not going to call him the president. That's not respect for the office. That's respect for the theft of the election. I'm not going to do that. Step one in each case is we stand for the truth. And I'll give you a great example. Our wonderful Senator Josh Hawley this last week. Have you seen the video of him with that Berkeley professor?
I played the clip for Cheryl Chumley, and we talked about it, yes.
Oh, great. And I love Cheryl, by the way.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
She's been doing great work. Here's the thing. That person comes in there, and on the basis that they are a doctorate at Berkeley, that's credentials. That's a piece of paper, okay? That's like me coming in there and having a piece of paper that says I have 3 doctorates in astrophysics, and I'm declaring that the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And at that point, nobody has the guts to say, hey, I don't think you're right, buddy. Well, I've got all these degrees. And nobody has the guts to come out and say that. And at that point, that person dominates. Now, God bless Josh Hawley because he made her look pretty foolish.
I know.
But she needs to be called out. You know what? I don't care if you have these degrees. If you're going to try and tell me a man can get pregnant, you're either extremely stupid, which I don't think you are, or you are so dogmatically committed to this poisonous, morally perverse agenda that you have just denied reality.
On that note, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and buy your book?
Okay, my book is at Amazon, and you just go there and look for either my name, Christopher Adamo, or you look for Rules for Defeating Radicals. And, it's there. It needs to get out. Public needs to understand how to fight the left. We know they need to be fought. This is how to do it.
We have a link to it too in the Facebook comments as well.
We do.
Great.
And what kind of humor do hockey players prefer? You should know this.
Oh gosh, I'll think about it later. I usually come up with an answer about 2 hours later. So go ahead and beat me with the hockey.
Okay, here's the kind of humor that hockey players prefer: slapstick.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Hello.
I almost said that.
All right,
I wish you had. Lisa, you need to stop it.
The man you are the lead-in for, the lead-in act sort of thing.
I know. I got told that in no uncertain terms this week that I'm just the one.
Is coming on in 1 minute. I got to stop. All right. Thank you so much, Chris Adamo, for being the leading act to Elad Hakim.
Say hi to Elad for me.
Elad, yeah, say his name right if you're going to be the opening
Say
act.
hi to Elon, too, if you get a chance.
Yeah, Elon Musk. He'll be on after who knows when. Yes, when he does his Twitter deal, we'll get him on. Thanks a lot, Chris. Have a great weekend.
Good talking to you. God bless you guys.
God bless you, too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, we just made it in time for. Do we have another set of commercials to do, or we've done 2? Thank God. All right, because I was going to get squeezed here pretty soon, you know. Anyways, we got coming up Elad Hakim. His little face should be penetrating my. It's going to be. It's very interesting to see how he's dressed. You know, he did his interview with one of Trump's lawyers, Jenna Ellis. Yeah. Yesterday or 2 days ago.
Looking sharp, too.
That's what I was commenting on. This guy comes in, he's unshaven on my show. Unshaven, and he's got a, well, I'm wearing a black T-shirt, too, but, you know, I'm a guy. I can do that. I have a right to bear arms, you know, right there, just about. And he, on the other hand, comes on, he's not shaven. Look at him. He's not shaven, and there he yeah, where's your suit and tie? What the hell's going on? What am I here, chopped liver? Oh, my God. See, I told you.
Listen,
I knew he was going to do that.
I emulate the host. Where's your suit and tie?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not posing to be somebody I'm not, okay? I'm not a lawyer. I'm in the restaurant business. I can dress like this. I'm 73 years old, Sonny. And if I want to dress in a T-shirt, not wear any pants, like I'm not wearing – no, I'm wearing pants. Who knows whether you're wearing pants or not, you know?
If I can interject something here real fast. So I saw Elad's post about being on Jenna Ellis' show, and my first thought was, man, he's looking sharp. And then I thought, oh, no, this is going to be a point of discussion on Friday.
Listen, Dave, would you like me to dress up?
You're in a T-shirt.
I think you should put on your clip-on tie with your T-shirt. What are you doing?
You're in a T-shirt.
I know, but I'm not. He's going on other shows dressed to the hilt. I'm surprised you weren't wearing a tuxedo on her show. Okay,
that's the way I dressed.
I will say one thing. At least I got mentioned as somebody you were going to talk to the next day. Thank you for that. Kind of you. At least I am somebody now. Elad has recognized I'm a person. That's all I need. Anyways, let me introduce you properly. Powerhouse South Florida lawyer.
Should we play a song first?
Oh, yeah, play a song first. Hit it. See, you got me all screwed up here. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Powerhouse South Florida lawyer, pundit who writes about law and politics, star of TV and podcasts, and the Perry Mason to the Dave Weinbaum show, calling all the way from Boca Raton. Please welcome Elad Hakim. Okay, now, who introduces you like that?
Nobody.
Thank you.
Nobody.
Thank you. Let's talk about Biden's and the Dems on the Supreme Court, the abortion decision. He has, and it really is not stopping abortion; it's just moving it to the states. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, a lot of people have misconstrued or misinterpreted the case, whether accidentally or on purpose. That includes many lawyers.
Really? And, lawyers don't understand that this is just moving it back in the states, and this was bad law. Even Ruth Ginsburg knew this was bad law, and she's pro-abortion, or was pro-abortion.
You're right, and yeah, unfortunately, it has been. I mean, I've seen a lot on LinkedIn. There was a lot of lawyers are just not presenting the holding the way you did, and you were exactly right. I mean, the Supreme Court basically, and I read the entire opinion, basically said there is no constitutional right to abortion under the federal Constitution. The abortion cannot find a home under the quote unquote right to privacy or substantive due process or equal protection, and because of that, it's kind of out of our jurisdiction, and it has to go back to the states and to the state legislatures to decide. And, for the women who were complaining about losing a right, two things. One, there is no right under the Constitution. And two, women can vote in their state elections and elect their state legislatures, and that can help guide the way the state handles abortion.
Sure.
So that's all the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court didn't give or take away any rights.
Well, I think it's intentionally being lied about because they still have people showing up to Kavanaugh and Barrett's house and all that, which is illegal, by the way. And they're still they got this outfit called DC something or other, and they will pay. We'll give you $200 if you spot a Supreme Court justice, and more money later if, in fact, you get. They actually make contact with them wherever they're at, a restaurant or something like that. Incredible felonious stuff that's going on, and the Biden administration doesn't seem to be doing anything about that.
Yeah, it's really scary. When you start offering bounties to find or to locate Supreme Court justices because you disagree with an opinion, that is scary stuff. And unfortunately, the Department of Justice, like you said, there is a statute that directly prohibits that type of conduct. And the Department of Justice, unfortunately, is pretty politicized now and is refusing to really do anything about it. And, Biden, I think, is trying to use this as a referendum, as the midterms approach,
right,
on, women's rights and abortion, which is he also issued his executive order. And I'll tell you what, it's based on some polling, at least that I've seen, and you can only put that much reliability in certain polls, but it's not having the desired impact that he wants. The people are more concerned with more pressing issues. It's about inflation. Abortion is, while important, it's just not as important as some of these bigger issues.
It's contradicted by their pro-transgender program, because when they support transgenders who are taking over women's sports, then it contradicts their fight for women's rights, because that's a direct slam against women as athletes and other things as well, isn't it?
Yes, but they don't. I don't think they see it that way. I think that they see people who are kind of transitioning as actual women. So I don't know if they actually look at it as taking away opportunity. I think it's more analogous to their whole position on my body, my choice with the vaccine. And I know that you are really involved with that. On the one hand, everybody has to have the vaccine. You don't have a choice whether or not you want to take it. On the flip end, it's my body, my choice when it comes to abortion. So which one is it exactly? Is it does it depend on the
I don't think they're the same thing, though. I don't think they're
or what?
See, I don't think they're comparable. You got one case where you're involving two individuals, not just one. If you kill a pregnant woman almost anywhere, you are charged with two murder charges, one for the mother, one for the baby. So I think there's a little bit of difference between the two comparisons, don't you?
There certainly is a difference factually, but it's the same type of hypocrisy that we're seeing, and that kind of defines the left recently. But you're 100% right, and the Supreme Court made that distinction very clear in Dobbs, in saying, "Hey, you cannot compare this where we found rights, different types of substantive due process rights with contraception, same-sex marriage. Those are all different. This is involving a potential, a life, unlike any of the other rights that you mentioned. So this is in a sphere in and of itself." And they're not analogous in that sense.
Here's another contradiction. Half of these babies are future women. They're killing half of these babies are women. So that's a contradiction, isn't it? A huge contradiction.
I don't know what the stats are.
It's probably 50-50. It's probably 50-50. Let's just go along with 50-50 and not quibble. How's that?
At the end of the day, Dave, the reason that Biden and the Democrats are having a problem, even with abortion, is because even Democrats, some of them don't approve of their abortion on demand and any time approach. It's such a extreme approach that a lot of Democrats don't agree with that. Let's say they may agree to prohibit abortions after 15 weeks or whatever. There
Right.
are various interpretations of where they're able to cut the line. But you look at states like Colorado, which just signed a bill allowing abortion up to, I don't even think it limits it, although I don't think it speaks to abortions after birth.
I think it does.
And then California, they
28
proposed
days after.
They proposed to allow abortions up to a week after birth.
I heard it was 28 days.
People are rejecting
It's
that.
murder.
That is insane.
Come on, is that not murder at that point?
Insane. That is insane. So I think that's the problem they're having. They have to appease, the progressive far leftists, but on the same token, they're losing people because they don't agree with that.
Like I say, there's too many contradictions in what they want. And the side effects of what they want, transgender and or abortions, or not abortions, but having women have to go to different states maybe. But most of the time you can find somebody to give you an abortion the way you want it. Okay? But the contradictions are such that in terms of political support, you're going to lose more people on one end of it, and I don't know how much power that is on either side, but sometimes you're going to lose the battle because what you've included is all these other things that you're for, and you're going to eliminate that. Anyways, let me go on to something else. Let's talk about Hunter Biden. There's 150 reasons to investigate Hunter, who purposely left a laptop describing his ties to China. That's another question: is why is this guy leaving all this evidence around? It seems like he's being protected by Biden's DOJ, but this guy he's a funnel of information about the Biden administration. He even has Joe Biden in one of his phone calls, leaving a message and congratulating him how the New York Times has cleared him of a crime. Okay, and Biden's out there saying, "Well, I don't know anything about his business." Well, that proves it's a lie. All right, so what's going on with this? And apparently he's getting a cover up on the 150 reasons to investigate him, and that is a huge number, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, talk about a blackmail machine. I mean, I can only imagine what's on that between the laptop and the phone that was recently hacked, apparently. But look, it goes back to the same thing. Jenna had asked me what I thought about, Joe's culpability here, Joe Biden's. Do you actually think anything's going to happen? You've got a Department of Justice that's politicized for the most part, and that's unfortunate. If we could only have objective observers of the law and objective practitioners, that'd be great. But look, I think aren't they investigating Hunter Biden? Isn't that what they're saying? That they're investigating him?
They said they were going to, and yet when they wanted to have hearings, I think it was Janet Yellen, because this involves the Treasury as well. It involves laws that you can't take money from foreign governments, so to speak, and especially in this case, obviously, because he's the president's son. But I think this would apply to anybody getting large sums of money from a foreign country. And
Yeah,
Janet,
well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anything's going to happen with it.
well, yeah, I know it, and you know it, and I'm not even sure the Republicans will do anything about it. Okay, that's how sad that is. But if they don't, we ought to raise hell about it for sure. Well, I don't know what you think about that, but don't you think the Republicans, if they get into a position of strength and overwhelming control of the House and the Senate, that they should have hearings about this every day, just about?
Well, the country's in such bad shape that I think that there are, kind of more pressing issues for Republicans to focus on now than Hunter Biden. one, I don't see Republicans having overwhelming majorities in both the House and Senate. I think it's more likely in the House. The Senate, I don't know. The Senate will be close. So they've got bigger things to focus on now. They've got energy, they've got to basically put a stop to Biden. And that's all they're going to be able to do now, unless there's some sort of miracle where they obtain some sort of super majority, which isn't going to happen. Nothing is going to get done. Nothing is going to get done, because Biden is going to retain, veto power, assuming they control both the House and the Senate, and they're not going to have enough to override his veto. So nothing is going to get done.
Well,
the object is to stop the bleeding right now.
You're assuming that Biden is going to run for re-election or won't be primaried by the likes of Gavin Newsom, and or Pete Buttigieg. Oh my God! Can you imagine that?
No, I'm talking for the remaining 2 years until
Wow.
For the remaining 2 years in the presidential election, I think that it's kind of hard to predict what will happen. But if things continue on their current course, then
I think just as a good politics would mean that you would want to get all this out in terms of congressional hearings to the American public, because this stuff is being hidden. The mainstream media is not reporting on this. The Biden laptop.
But think about it, Dave. As an American citizen, you're worried about putting food on the table. You're worried about the economy. You're worried about inflation. Mm-hmm. Do you care? Well, you might, because you're involved in politics. But the typical American who's not involved, they care about those things before they care about Hunter Biden. So somehow
Hunter Biden is part of the reason, though. He's part of the reason why Joe Biden is out there coddling China, and instead of figuring out and giving that, he just gave them, I think it was like 500 million barrels of oil, China, out of the reserve. That is something that is taking food off of our tables.
But what do you want from it? Do you think that Joe Biden is going to be prosecuted? No. Do you think he's going to be impeached? No, because you're not going to have the numbers.
I think it's going to be important if he does run, or somebody.
If he does run,
I think people have to know it, and that's one of the things of having the majority in Congress. You get to do hearings.
I think they will, because certain Republicans have already indicated that if they regain control, then they are going to investigate this. So,
all right, hold on. I'm getting a lot of feedback here from people on my board here, so I want to read some of this to you. Anna Therese Weinbaum Parrish. I think we're related, but probably not. But she's out of California. Biden won't be president much longer. Kamala will be put in. Who is this guy? He is Elon. He is better than Elon Musk. Elad Hakim. What do you mean? Who's this guy? I don't agree. A lot is happening behind the scenes. Crap's being exposed by truthers and people like you, Dave. Okay, well, that's very nice of you. Thank you. Oh, come on. He's good. What are you talking about? This guy's great.
Let me ask Anna.
Yeah.
How is Kamala going to be put in? What is the procedure?
Because and why do we want her? Okay.
In case she doesn't know, the only way that Kamala comes in is if Biden is removed, right, or resigns. And the only way that Biden can be removed is with Kamala's blessing.
Yeah.
Because the 25th Amendment requires the vice president's blessing, so to speak, to remove the president. So do we think that Kamala Harris wants to be president? I certainly don't think so. She's not. She hasn't made any indication
I
that she
wonder
wants
about that.
to.
I don't know. And we got some more from Chris Adamo. So let's see, Chris Adamo, who by the way claims that that he's better than you are because he thinks you got a better time slot.
I was listening to Chris. He is no lower than I am. He's amazing. He should go right after me.
So I said, no, you're just the opening act to Elad Hakim, right? He says, Republicans suffer from battered conservative syndrome. They believe they need leftist Democrat permission to go after any crime. Okay, I would agree with that. And these contradictions, this is Chris again, these contradictions / hypocrisy are endemic to the left. So there you go. And also Chris Adamo, again, the DOJ is weaponized. Okay, let's go back to just asking him questions now. All right. Now, just the other day, I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but AOC admitted that the Capitol police officers were working with with the people that they were letting in. These are Trump supporters. They were opening the doors for them. It was like a tour. And this is AOC saying this. And I've seen the film. And, by the way, where's Ray Epps and the FBI and Antifa? So now, all of a sudden, AOC is out there with this. And it seems to me that she just destroyed the 1-6 committee. What are your thoughts? And why is she doing this?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know why she's doing it. I don't know why she does anything. I mean, she also said that basically the Supreme Court is illegitimate and that you should basically get rid of the Supreme Court. But look, I've told you before, I haven't watched any of the 1-6 hearings. I know that you have. I think that they are just a politicized stunt. So, we've talked about it before, Dave. No ability to call witnesses, no cross-examination, no ability to contest any of the information that's being admitted, no rules of evidence, nothing. It's a one-sided production by the left.
They all know it too, don't they? They're not clueless about it. They all know this is a one-sided thing. They know that. They all know it, but they're just trying to get enough people to destroy Trump's reputation to either get him primaried or totally out of the race in 24. Wouldn't you agree?
There's no chance. There's no chance unless somehow Trump is.
What else do they got?
Convicted, God forbid.
What else do they got?
They're not going. There's nothing he can do. If Trump wants to run, there's nothing that they can really do.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You can tell 7 years. That I agree with that. Well, Anna, I agree with your message there.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah.
It's kangaroo court. Oh, you can read that stuff, can't you? All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and January 6th is staged, and sure it is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's just. But some people are buying this, and they're saying, we've heard so much bad stuff about Trump. Maybe some of it's true, and so we don't know if we want to go with Trump. What about the DeSantis? And. First of all, Trump has got 50% of the Republican parties right now, even with this 1-6 crap going on, and DeSantis is around 25%. And quite frankly, I think DeSantis in the future, I don't see him as doing it now. DeSantis, I think Trump is the guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's Trump's to lose if he wants it. I don't think there's anybody that's remotely close to him. And look, I love Governor DeSantis. I think he's done wonders for the state.
Absolutely, for the country.
People love him. He's all about freedom and the Constitution and protecting Floridians against overzealous government, control. So he's great. He's just not as seasoned yet, and he's going against a former president who has tremendous support. People don't only love Trump. I think they're still really ticked off after what happened in 2020.
You think I'm not ticked off? Are you ticked off?
That's what I mean. So it's not only that they love Trump, but they're ticked. I mean, they feel like this, we're in this position for reasons that are unfair.
Cameron.
he has got tremendous support, and to his benefit, to his credit, he stayed in the limelight. Yeah, nice hat.
Thank you.
He stayed in the public eye ever since the election. So he's not like out of sight, out of mind. He stayed.
He just gave a speech in Alaska. I happen to watch, every once in a while I watch his speeches. I mean, they're pretty much similar, but they're all very entertaining. The guy is a riot, actually, and the stuff he says are amazing. And he draws these crowds in Alaska just about, a week or two ago?
Yeah.
Where it set a record for the inside part of this auditorium, and he had crowds outside the auditorium, and it's his biggest crowd they've ever had. And
I'll tell you what, I loved the Alaska speech.
Yeah, I did too.
It was it was hosted. Right Side Broadcasting Network was there, and I write for them. And I loved his approach because he went and systematically, one by one, said, during my administration, X was the case, and during the Biden administration, Y is the case. And he did it on various issues, and I think that's what he has to focus on. He has to remind people, forget all the nonsense, the January 6th committee, that's all smokescreen nonsense. All right. Well, the reality is what's happening on the ground. People can't put food on their table.
Yeah.
They can't. Inflation is high. Filling up your car with gas is a nightmare. The job market, people aren't working because any increased wages that they may be seeing are just offset by the inflation. So all these things are what's important, not to mention the security at home. We've got people flowing in to the country from the border, just unregulated. God knows how many people are coming in. All these things are important. And you look at different polls, it's consistent. What's important? The economy, and things like that.
I'm under a lot of pressure here because we've got about 3 minutes left, and I'm getting all these comments from Anna Therese Weinbaum Parrish and my brother Martin Weinbaum. So I got to do with Martin because he's my brother. Would Trump take DeSantis as a vice president? Good choice or not? I don't think that would happen. Do you?
I don't think so either. I can't. Obviously, you can't speak for DeSantis, but I could see DeSantis wanting to be president. I wouldn't see him wanting to kind of serve under Trump. And I think it could be a waste also. I mean, they are the two powerhouses in the Republican Party. Why waste them as one package?
And I would agree with that. And I think DeSantis would have his time after Trump. He's still a relatively young guy. And I think he'd make a pretty good president too, but we don't know yet in terms of how he would handle other stuff like international stuff, and there's a lot of stuff out there. But so far, he's showing a really good thing. I mean, I certainly would prefer DeSantis over Biden, wouldn't you?
Oh, please, yeah. And DeSantis is incredibly smart.
Yeah, and my buddy JP here wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, it's not a question. For me, it's Trump 2024, and then you leave DeSantis try to go for 2 terms after that.
Yeah, probably.
That's what you got to do.
I
would agree. All right, listen. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and hire you, sir?
Find me on Twitter. I actually changed. I wasn't thoughtful GOP.
Why'd you do that?
Because I noticed that certain people were following me and tagging me under my real name.
Yeah.
And I didn't know for years.
Sure.
So I changed just to Elad Hakim, to add Elad Hakim. Otherwise, follow me on Facebook at Thoughtfully Conservative. And I think I'm on Truth at Elad Hakim or something.
Yeah, I'm on it too, but I don't know if anything is happening there. I can't figure it out. And Twitter kicked me off for like 12 hours last Thursday. Did you see that?
Yeah, you told me.
Well, I told you I couldn't move your stuff. But you are. How many interviews did you do this week?
I did 3. I'll tell you what. My friend Annette, who you should connect with on Facebook, just started her own radio show, so you guys should connect. She also mentioned your show when introducing me.
Oh, so, she did. All right, I like her already. So how do I Annette what?
Let me look up her last name. I just have trouble saying it. But how many Annettes am I connected with? Annette Biden.
I don't know, but Amy might have to come in the room and whack you one if you're associated with all these Annettes. Yeah. We'll lend her the whip for
really
my
nice.
wife.
She's an attorney, and
Yes.
she has her she has her own show now.
All right, well, send it to me. All right, send it to me. Hey, listen, thanks so much, and Shabbat Shalom, my friend. Hi to Amy and the kids. Okay?
Thank
I
you,
got to
guys.
close the
Have a
show.
good weekend.
And thanks for everybody on the show here that contributed to this man's trial. Apparently, this was a trial for him. And look him up. Anna Therese, thank you. Look him up. And,
she's in Badass Babes on the Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's great. Badass right there. All right, thanks
Yes.
a lot, everybody.
Yes, we are.
It was a great show. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Lisa Ann. Weinbaum, the law, and I'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show.